Call of Duty World League. 2 games have already passed us by, and 2 really good games have passed us by already. If you have missed them, you will be able to catch them on the VODs, and you should. First game of the day, we had LDLC Vitality. It was the French matchup, and you really need to go watch that back. I mean, you can see the result there. It was truly one for the record books. Just to see LDLC, the newer names, you know, ex-Spartan, go up against Vitality, a team that already made the name for themselves in that French scene, picking that one up. And, I mean, it just got better from there.
Yeah, I mean, could it be the day where all the underdogs win? We went on to our 5:30 game matchup, sorry. Giants taking on XL. XL obviously 2-0 in the league. Giants 0-2. That soon changed as Giants picked up their first win, taking it to a tense game 5, finalising things in that Search Destroy 6-2. Probably the only game which wasn't, you know, super close. The hard point went down to 3 points machine.
Yeah, I mean, it was absolutely crazy. A last-minute comeback, a last-second comeback from XL on that hill. One to remember, that's for sure. But this one could very well promise to be equally as exciting. You've kind of stated it there already, Phil, is we've had 2 underdogs win. Could we make it 3? The underdog, of course, in this one, for the uninitiated, is going to be TCM, a roster of players that have already kind of caught our eye. There's a couple of individuals. I mean, Bran is the first one that stands out to me, as I feel like he's been filling the kill feed quite often. And they're going up against a roster like Epsilon, and already, I think Epsilon, do you remember the game I'm thinking of where we had like Raid and Reedy doing some absolutely ridiculous things?
I think it was evac on something else. They were using rejack. It was CTF.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
They were using rejack. They were using shock charges. They were using all sorts, dingoes, LMGs, much like LDLC were, of course. You know, it wasn't a one-sided affair. But Epsilon came out on top. They're 2-0 in the league at the moment. TCM, obviously, on the opposing side, not having the best of starts. But we've just seen a tense 5-game series. Can we see it again? Can the underdogs of TCM fight their way through? Can they take Epsilon and take the victory?
So, what we always like to cover with this TCM roster is that you basically have... Excuse me. Just had my dinner. There we go. We have like this kind of these 3 names that will not get as much as easily recognized to the eye of kind of a seasoned European Call of Duty fan. However, you then see Shane, and you know what? There's been this kind of unusual dynamic whereby Shane, the kind of the veteran of the roster, seems to actually not be necessarily in the limelight as often as you would expect. He's more so, I don't know whether it's his presence in the comms, but in game, he hasn't actually been, you know, this shining light of frags and of kills, of plays. It's actually just been kind of him in the middle of the pack alongside everyone else.
The good thing is, over the weekend, they had the chance to speak to Shane directly and have a really good chat with him about his team. And the one thing that he said to me was, joining this team, he didn't want to be that guy where he joined, he changed things, he swapped people's roles, he swapped people's dynamics. He wanted to basically fill in what the previous member did. So, yes, he brings his leadership. Yes, he brings everything else. But for Shane, he's all about the victory, and that is the experience that he brings. Of course, straight into the ban and protect here. M8 and Vespa straight away. They are no longer.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a quick break with the protects we saw in the previous series. Now back to the bans where they belong. M8 and Vespa gone. Concussion gone. Purifier is going to be... not making an appearance here in this game, as we see the flashbang kind of the expected follow-on from the concussion. Quick bans coming out from this one. No protects as of yet. You are still kind of waiting on the rapid fire, and that's going to be coming down to what Rated and Zerg do. You'd assume it's going to come right down to the last second to see who's going to be willing to take that one away. Yeah,
interesting enough, though, both Moose and Reedy from Epsilon taking away those concussion and flashbangs. So, for me, Epsilon, they want none of that. Happy, obviously, to let the weapon choices go in the factor of TCM, because these teams and these players know each other so well. You know, they're all British. You know, they play each other, they scrim each other a lot. And for me, yes, Epsilon are the favourites, but TCM, not one to be underestimated. Shane has that experience, those accolades behind him, which all of Epsilon don't have. I must say, you know, Shane has teamed with the majority of the players on the opposing teams as well, especially that long-lasting teammate Moose, who will be able to come out on top, though, as the specialist draft come into play.
Yeah, so let's do the rosters then for you to introduce our 3rd game of the day. It is, of course, week 2, day 1 of the Call of Duty World League in Europe. Joe rocking the Annihilator, Reedy on the Heat Wave. Moose, as you already highlighted, is picking up the kinetic armor and rated on the Scythe. What's different on the other side of things for TCM, though, is it looks like we're just going to be seeing the one change with the Tempest swapped out for the... Wait a second, the Annihilator.
Yep, Tempest and Annihilator, obviously. Joe, we said about that other Annihilator player. We did say it, didn't we? I was waiting for you to say it. I was like, he's not even spotted it. And I was like, Joe, he was the Annihilator play. We saw him previously. But to be honest, you know, you remember the Tommy clips, obviously, because he was so prolific with it. I'm trying to think of the other person who used the Annihilator. Now Tohor.
Tohor, there we go.
And Nolson. Now, see, it's all clicking into place. By week 10, we'll have all these nailed down, of course. But on the other side, obviously, Heatwave, Kinetic Armor, Tempest, and Scythe for TCM. As the players get ready, as that green tick comes in, showing whether they are or not. For me, we're looking at... It's got to be that Nile and Joe kind of lineup. The ones which have changed it up a little bit. The Annihilator, the Tempest, both weapons. You know, who's going to come head to head for me? I've got to say Joe. I've got to say Joe is the one to watch. Just want to point out something for you kind of previous Call of Duty fans, which have been around the scene for a while. Again, I had the chance to sit down with Epsilon as a team, have a chat with them. Reedy was always this prolific assault rifle player. Joe was this, you know, this awesome objective player. And Moose was the same. He was like an assault rifle player. It's all been mixed up in Black Ops 3. So just to go explain their roles. Rated, still that dominant assault rifle player. Moose now is a player which is reverted back to his submachine gun ways. Very, very kind of old school play style. And Joe has actually taken the assault rifle. So if you're looking at Joe, and I was thinking, why is this guy using an assault rifle? He's never done this before. Yeah. That is why. But the map and mode is Stronghold Hardpoint. Also, as we said, Hardhold or Strong Point. But 250 points is the score limit to 5 minutes on the clock. Respawn delay is disabled. And of course, if it's anything like the previous ones we've already seen, definitely a game to watch.
Yeah, well, so far so good for today of the World League. We've had some incredible Call of Duty played out, and we're going to be hoping to see more of the same. Stronghold it is to start things off, and we've seen an incredible hard point to kind of start the day. Let's see if we can see another one. Of course, 3 points separating the two teams in our previous game on this very combination. Now, though, you're going to be seeing the trophy systems and nades thrown out as Moose goes on initial hunt, and TCM just light up the kill feed. Red finally really finds something in response, and more than just something, he finds himself a double. As we're going to be seeing that fight for early middle control. It's just going to be those scrap points at the moment, as it's just going to be constantly contested as bodies are thrown back and forth into the point.
Yeah, I think that's the storyline here. It will be contested in the middle. But looking at the kill feed at the moment, it's all square. But as we see, Epsilon picking up 3 back-to-back. Moose and Rated picking up a couple of kills for themselves. Nile answering back as well. Epsilon are getting the majority of these scrap points here. 20 seconds left on the clock before the rotation will happen.
And how much further can they extend this one then? 15 seconds, and Epsilon are still firmly in control of this one. You can see that there is still some members of TCM just on the outside by Hut. They want to try and kind of question this, try and at least get a contest. They do finally, but 30 points accumulated. That's the majority of those available points then going the way of Epsilon by quite a large margin. And it moves just a couple of meters then inside, and Reedy's already there on the scene to keep hold of this one. Trophy system set up, angles held, and Epsilon off to a solid start.
Interesting how the M8 has been taken away. We see the Man-O-War, we see the HVK, we see these different types of assault rifles, but the SMGs are being dominated by the VMPs. Let's jump on board. I was going to say Reedy. Yep, he is. He's using the VMP. This lead's just getting bigger and bigger.
HVK, isn't he? He's got overkill, I'm pretty sure. He's using that VMP quite closely, and he's going to be... Oh, no, maybe not.
No, he must have picked it up from
scooped it up off the floor.
Wise decision. I always like to have a secondary weapon. Always quicker than reloading is swapping to your gun. That's what I like to say.
But in the meantime, look at Reedy go. He's kind of currently sitting on 6-1.
I've just seen
what's caught your eye?
Maybe he's got the Wraith. I don't know if he's still on this kill streak. I don't think he is. But I mean, just a ballsy play is to even go for the Wraith.
Reedy's obviously confident. I mean, he's done so well so far with this Lightning Strike and a Hellstorm, and I'm going to say he's playing so passively. He may very well still be on for it. In the meantime, though, 72-17, TCM just struggling to make a bit of an impact. The Heat Wave does come out, and Aid's Rated in finding that one. Trophy system gone. He's evading nades. He's doing all the right things in all the right places, but how much further can he do when it comes to breaking the hill? Spray's coming out. He's running out of bullets. He's going to get caught off guard. Bran with the Cuda, no less, finds that. And it does look like TCM could be making a bit more of a play for this one on that third rotation.
Yeah, Lightning Strike's going to come in. Reedy shutting down now. Joe going to get the headshot on Zerg. And now this is where we see Epsilon come into their own. 3 kills back-to-back. They're going to take control. And all of TCM has spawned at the bunker. Only one, which is Shane. None other than Shane, just causing havoc. Let's see what he's doing at the moment. Surely he's going to make this kill, as he does not. I think that was 2 separate plays he was shooting. It must have been Moose, though, picking up a double. And Moose, again, the opportunity that I had to speak to them, he actually had a bit of a bone to pick with me, and the way he was playing. You know, he said, I'm going to be this aggressive player, putting numbers on the board, and that is exactly what he's doing. 15 kills to his name already as they break 100 points.
Yeah, that's incredibly strong start for Moose. The only one kind of really chasing that dream on the other side of things is going to be Niall and Zerg. In fact, both of them holding hands on 8 and 9 apiece. Still, that's a horrible kind of mountain to overcome so early into this one. As you can see, the early contest coming out from Joe. He's on the hunt with the RK5, and just turned his back at the wrong moment, but fortunately, there's a player there to greet him, and there's going to be a second one for him as well, as he's just pocketing them with the HVK. Finally, Niall with the MR6 makes something happen, and something quite special with the 2. Make it 3, no! Save and defended by Bran, but TCM, they need to keep this one. Like, they need almost all of this one. The Hellstorm's going to make it difficult.
Yeah, the Hellstorm's just been shot out the sky there, I believe. Rated, though, he's going to pick up a double. Shane and Niall answering back as Bran joins the kill feed. And now we see the gap almost close to a 50-point game from a 70. TCM are getting back into it, but look at the rotation. This is all on Epsilon. Epsilon have this in control.
This is the money hill. This is where things can spiral out of control. TCM are not careful. They're going to be going towards that bunker area. Reedy is actually going to be playing it from behind. It's kind of broken, though. You can see that going to get tested by the heat wave, but he's still kicking. And it's just going to be one more to pick up. Shane's brains are everywhere, and it looks like they're going to be finding another one, courtesy of Moose. 2 for him. He's hit 20. Ladies and gentlemen, Moose. He said he was going to be picking up the kills, and he most definitely is. Yeah,
Moose and Joe there just single-handedly, or as a duo ship, should I say, they held that on their own. You know, 2 of their players got taken down. Moose and Joe really stepped up. Moose with a second. Isn't going to find the second, should I say, but Reedy also answering back trade after trade. But it looks like here, TCM have actually got a few points here from this money hill as Epsilon try and break it back. But Niall, he's got the Tempest.
Yeah, he's actually holding this relatively firmly. He's trying to just catch one on the rotate. 180 degrees was a little too much for him, but TCM, they've closed this gap. This could have gone a little out of control, though. This could have been sitting about the 140, 150 mark if they hadn't have stabilized. But they have, and we're going to be looking at about 120 to 80 as this hill comes to a close. And of course, moving now back to the full circle. We're going back to middle, folks, and it's back for that control of these very open hard point. Is there anybody like strikes, anything to worry about? As I say that, it does look like one's going to be coming raining in. Bran catches his teammate.
Yeah, probably not the... For me, the kill streaks need to come in either on the hut hill or they need to come out on the rocks. For this middle hill, yes, you can kind of use your score streaks, get them off it, but they're only going to come back fighting with their own and, you know, stuns, grenades. But for me, I'm just looking at the kill feed here. Sorry, the scoreboard here. 21 and 10 for Niall, and also their Moose, 25 and 14. Massive, massive slaying abilities coming up for him. Look, though,
what was that, Moose? He looked at his opponent and then proceeded to jump into his crosshairs. He's going to be kicking himself that we were watching him there. As you can see, Moose, again, trying to follow that body before it has already gone. This is going to be making up for good lost time, though. It does catch Neil as 26, looking for 27th, but he's a fresh magazine for that one, as Epsilon, they have managed to just kind of incrementally increase their lead, but TCM followed them as they both pocket about 20 points apiece. And Lightning Strike is available. You said you asked for it for this second rotation. You wanted it towards the kind of the hut area, and so they have to hold on to this one while they battle in Chalet. Yeah, Niall is just rotating around. I think he's done the wise thing here. He's almost given up the points for the moment and tried to get this spawn. And he has got this back spawn. Excuse me, will this come into play? And will this be beneficial for TCM? They've given a lot of points here to Epsilon. And I just want to see, again, what Moose is doing, because he's popping the kinetic armor. He's getting kill after kill, nearly hitting 30 already. I love that. 7-tex, trophy, kinetic armor, all come into play at once. He knows exactly what he's doing. A man with much experience under his belt. He scooped up a Cuda as well. Just in the meantime, pops Cuda in his back pocket. That one. Maybe be using that one in a bit, but right now he doesn't even need to think about picking up weapons because he's just picking up frags. Look at that, Bran goes down, as does Niall, courtesy of Rated and his AR. Does look like there's a scythe in play though. Zerg's trying to break the hill with that one, but he's just so far away. In fact, the entirety of TCM are miles away from this one, and they're going to be playing for that hut hill. Yeah, jumping on board with Joe. He's tuned in, as I said, the assault rifle player. Looks unfamiliar if you've watched him on previous titles, but has that spawn.
Rated's more the anchor type of player. Joe's that, you know, secondary AR. Reedy getting in the face as that submachine gun all-rounder. And Moose now dropping 30 kills, getting taken down. For me, Moose is the man of the moment. 1 minute 40 on the clock for the hardpoint capture time. And also has so much more in his belt already. Moose, though, he's got to get taken down. Oh, Nile. 26 and 16.
Not doing too shabby, is he? I mean, considering he's got 100, excuse me, 1 minute 20 over on the hard point as well. It's the most for his team. He's been spending time defending and he's picking up kills in the process. He's now looking to go on a slaying spree as he finds his 28th. And now he also has the Tempest available. Potentially going to be saving that one for the next hill and not another one. Good God, the backs are turned. Epsilon caught with their pants around their ankles. He's going to keep lining them up. Oh my God, another one. Nile on a spree as he finds 30 and gets those final few points, I would assume. But no, hunted down. And we're going to have to accept that the battle for rocks is going to be a brutal one. Yeah,
and look where he spawns with his teammates ready to get back in the action. That's what he's going to do in great fashion as he takes down one. Reedy falls as Moose answers back. Moose 32 and 21 more kills than anyone except for Nile. Just taking this corner, he's going a little bit slow. He almost senses someone around him, and that is what it was. It was, oh no, Shane was actually the one answering back. Let's see what Shane's up to. We've not seen too much of him in this game. He's on a 3-kill streak at the moment. He's trying to get his team back in the running as we see about a 50-point game.
Yeah, I mean, 25 points for Shane. He knows that all of these are necessary on rocks if he wants to try and close this one. It doesn't look like it's going to be coming easily. Yes, he has connected Karma, but it's just not the kind of time or place for it, as they realize that this rotation is always going to be a brutal one. Into what's that bunk? You can see already Brand standing vigilant, even though it caught within an inch of his life. He's still breathing, throws out the EMP and the Semtex just to try and keep them at bay. And then the next 5 seconds, he's going to be on for that power play.
Yeah, and the best thing about this is TCM now have control of the, you know, this money hill, this bunker hill. If they're going to get back into it, it's here. One thing I want to see from Epsilon is to not rush it. I want them to kind of breach in, use their specialists if they can do, and I want to jump on board with Rated. He's picked up one, does fall. Can Joe do anything else? Shane shuts him down. Joe on this flank, and he's the only one left alive. TCM can get right back in here, Machine.
Yeah, this is going to be it, really, the first test for Epsilon as they try and make their way on, all from the same entrance. There's a degree of predictability to them, as look at Nile go with the Tempest. He's got a third, he's got a fourth! Just goes on an absolute slaying spree, knocks them down like Skittles, and that's going to be TCM back in the running.
Yeah, and that was unbelievable from Nile, and he's still alive. He's not going to be able to make a fifth there, but he's 37 and 21, 2 minutes 10 on the hill for his team. But you see this go again in Epsilon. As we, was I not watching the clock?
I wasn't watching the clock. Did that just end?
Oh, I mean that's
oh my God, that's so awkward. Oh no way! Did we not watch the clock?
Oh, I mean, I was watching the Tempest. I was watching it come into play. I mean, is that the first time it's come down to the clock?
That is the first time that's happened.
Oh, I'm so disappointed in myself.
Oh, and me. We were both just so into the idea of a TCM comeback. The clock completely eluded us. Oh, well, that's one to remember.
Well, I really want to watch it back and watch myself get so hyped up. It's like TCM are going back into it and everyone's at home like, no, they're not. You know, they lost probably 20 seconds ago.
Oh, no.
But the great thing is about the clock is if it goes down to 1 second, they can still come back the whole way. Because as long as it's contested, as long as someone is not, as long as it wasn't doing the way it was, but it's just the way it goes.
That's our job's gone.
One to watch. Yeah, I'll see.
We'll hand in our resignation. I feel like we've not done you a service there. Okay,
map number 1, Epsilon.
Yeah. Let's talk about that, because, I mean, you know, TCM were on for a comeback at some point.
The best thing was neither of us kind of got onto it.
One of us, should have at least been, like, pointing at the clock, but no. Okay, we're gonna have to accept, cut our losses, and we can go ahead and crown Epsilon as the winners of map 1 in this best of 5 series.
Yeah, they had it in the bag.
Yeah, easy peasy lemon squeezy. No chance of a comeback from TCM. That's all a lie. Of course, Nile was going off. I mean, he was top of the scoreboard, and I think it's safe to say that TCM always seem to have these individuals, but there's never more than one. It's like Nile takes a turn, then Zerg has a go with his scythe, or then Brand turns up, but we never see all of them are kind of on fire at the same time. And that really could be what we're missing so far from TCM.
Now, the interesting one is we've seen Hardpoint. It's over and done with. It's gone for Epsilon. Speaking to Epsilon, I said this to you before the show, but kind of letting the guys know at home as well. I've luckily had this opportunity to speak to all the players individually, especially from the UK. Epsilon, and Rated in particular, has said and quoted this: they will not lose a search and destroy in the whole league. They won't lose one. Whether they go to map 5 and lose all 3 respawns, they said, and I'll try to word for word, we won't lose a search and destroy, and we will win the league. They're so confident going into this. It's almost, you know, is it overconfidence? You know, I've almost asked him that question, but he said we're not going to lose a search and destroy. We're too good at it.
And you know what? It kind of goes back to what you said not too long ago, where you sat there and said, you know, Search and Destroy wins you champs because of the fact that it does crop up twice in a best of 5, and that's where you really, you know, you can get 2 steps of the way to that third and final step just by picking up the Search and Destroy wins. And you know what? Epsilon so far so good.
Yep.
They haven't dropped a Search and Destroy.
True.
Maybe, just maybe, this could be another example of just how strong they. What makes them so strong? Because I'm trying to think back. Nothing really stood out to me. There was just some very kind of unusual individual plays from Reedy with his Argus and stuff like that.
I mean, I don't think they've had chance to show it because they were using things like rejack and you know, they've been down the cheese aisle, as you said. But for me, this is a time to show it because they're coming up against a team which, you know, are a good Search and Destroy team. I know this. I said to them, what if you come against Millennium? You're just going to beat them at Search and Destroy? Yeah, we will beat them at Search and Destroy. And I'm not saying they're not going to do this. I almost hope they prove everyone wrong.
That would be cool.
If they can go on some crazy Search and Destroy victories. But will they win it 6-0, 6-1? Is it going to be that convincing? We'll have to find out. But want to watch, can TCM just close them down? If TCM win the Search and Destroy, I'll have a few questions to ask.
Yeah, I mean, that would immediately shut down. I love that you've kind of set up Epsilon on the slaughterhouse now. Like, you're just like, right, so...
They set themselves up.
Yeah.
I mean, and that will become very evident to everyone else shortly. But for me, they're obviously very confident. They know that they're good at Search and Destroy, and if I had to back a team to do what they're saying they do, it would be Epsilon.
Yeah, and why is that? Why do they have such an effective Search and Destroy team? Is it just because they've been drilling it, because they put so much effort into, you know, succeeding in Search and Destroy, or is it something kind of more hidden?
Funny you should ask that, Machine.
I
was waiting for you to ask me this question. What it was, you know, they were teaming with Watson at the start, and Watson never played with him.
Yeah.
All they did was basically play Search and Destroy with the pickup. So they said to me that they had so much time on Search and Destroy. Everyone drills hardpoint in scrims. Everyone does that. They basically played so much Search and Destroy that they feel that their game at the moment is way ahead of every European team. They said themselves, if we went to America, we'd feel confident in playing Search and Destroy against American teams. And I'm not kind of putting any quotations out there that aren't stuff that they've said already themselves. But they've had so much time to grind out this Search and Destroy. And then they added Reedy back in. Reedy, who is basically ex-teammates are rated. It gelled so well together them. So this is their time to kind of shine. They've said they're going to win the league. They've said they're going to prove everyone wrong with the God Squad and Vitality. But I just want to stop talking. I want to watch this Search and Destroy. I want to be a spectator for this, but I can't, of course.
But it does look like we are still waiting for the majority of players actually to get back on into the lobby to get ready for this one. So we may have to put you on the coolers for a bit, get you on ice, so you can calm down before.
Take a deep breath, Phil.
This one goes down. I am having some real trouble managing to actually hear anything at this point in time. I was trying to be subtle with it, but I really can't, as we are still awaiting all of the members from either side. I'm going to go ahead and crack open with my stats and see if I can draw anything from this for their Search and Destroy predictions.
But on the other side, whilst he's getting his stats, so what I would say is I've had the chance to speak to Epsilon. I've also, on the flip side, spoken to all of TCM. And for Shane, it was a different story. For him, it was, we're coming into this league as underdogs, almost, you know, they qualified last. It's that 10th spot.
Yeah.
They said, we want to solidify a top 6 placement. Now, I thought that was really interesting because I said, you know, why is this? Basically, they don't want to be in that relegation zone. They know there are teams that are better than them in this league at the moment. But what they want to do is they want to finish in that top 6. They want to be able to prove themselves in stage 1, in stage 2, in all the seasons. Their main goal is get to that world champs. And of course, that's what everyone's goal is. But for them, it's a little bit different from Epsilon, who are so confident going into this. But for me, I really feel that TCM could upset that. I almost want this to go to a close Search and Destroy. I'd love to see them and just message Rage. You know, as a close Search and Destroy, you think you can still beat every single person? He would say yes. I know he would.
Yeah, he would, of course.
He's so confident in his ability, and I like it. I actually like his overconfidence. You see it in all the great players. I'm not going to name names in other sports, but the best of the best. As a well-known saying goes, it's hard not to be cocky when you're just the best.
That's a brilliant expression, because it's most definitely something we're going to be seeing more and more as these personalities continue to kind of mature in one way or another. But I have interesting news for you. Due to some mumbo jumbo with the rules, we're playing hardpoint again.
So as I was getting...
I'm really sorry, Phil.
I was so excited.
Phil, I'm really sorry. You were really so ready for Search and Destroy. However, I'm afraid you're going to have to just calm it down, because we've got to go and see who wins Hardpoint Stronghold first. Epsilon won by time last time, we think.
All right, so were we not wrong?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. We could have been wrong. We don't know. We're going to basically be jumping straight back into Hardpoint Stronghold to actually find out the true winner of that one before we go into the one. Maybe we didn't actually get caught off guard. Maybe, just maybe.
Maybe we're not too shabby after all, you know.
We're not completely potato brains.
I was watching it, and it wasn't, you know, sometimes the players kind of take their foot off the gas and stop still. And think,
Everyone was still like
they
brawling.
were getting into it, you know. Now with the temper, it was. We'll find out, and we will only find out by watching afterwards. Because
I want to find it right now, but there's no way I'm going to be able to do that.
We're sat here till the end. We get to watch every single game, and obviously cast over every single game within European COD from stage 1, day 1, week 1 to the very, very end. So we get to see it all, which is great for us. But obviously we can't just flick back and watch what just happened. I'm sure you'll be getting a lot of tweets telling us exactly what happened. Of course, if you are on Twitter, joining obviously COD World League CWL PS4.
Smashed it. Nice minimalist way of promoting that social media. Of course, we're available on Facebook as well with the /Call of Duty. Just talking about kills for a second then, I was looking over just across the entirety of the World League between these two teams, Epsilon and, of course, their opponents, TCM, who's like fragging for either side. And the top fragger, it surprised me a little bit, which was actually, it's the new blood. It's Reedy, since his edition, 1.12 kill death ratio.
Reedy, he had a very, very good map last week.
Yeah. I'm
trying to figure out which one it was, but I can't remember. But on Twitter, it was just Reedy. And it was definitely deserved. I was kind of saying he was kind of the new, I think it might have been on evac actually when he was using all his rejack on evac. But
rejack on evac.
Will be. The good thing about the stats is week 1, it's just like, oh, he got the highest. Yeah, we saw the one game. But after so many weeks go by, we'll see these even out. We'll see the real kind of slayers, the real objective players. But it looks like we're getting back into it. Hardpoint on Stronghold.
Okay, here we go. The bans and the picks are the same. The bans and protects, whatever you want to call them. We're going straight on back into the fray, and we're going to be finding the true rightful winner of this hard point. Let's not forget already it was a pretty close affair before, about 30 or 40 points separating these two teams right off the bat. TCM, though, have come in with a bang, starting with some early control, and we'll see for how long they can maintain it, because already Zerg and Brand, they're getting the necessary frags to keep Epsilon locked on out as they reach 10 nice and early.
Yeah, 10 points nice and early. Epsilon yet to score. Reedy obviously trying to change things as he looks like he's rotating right round behind TCM. He's going to be found out and shut down. Brandon Nile, the new blood of TCM. Not new blood of the scene, should I say. The existing TCM here, putting up 3 kills apiece. Shane yet to get a frag under his name. Let's see what Shane's doing. Oh, Shane is the man getting all the points. Yeah,
he's the one responsible for that. You can see, look at that, 20 seconds already, just 23 points. So he's been almost all of the points picked up for TCM, and still Epsilon yet to make a mark. Finally they do, but that's because the rotate is on its way. As TCM just for a second let up, take the foot off the gas, and we do see just the one for Epsilon before this rotate. Let's not forget, of course, it is just a meter in the other direction into the bottom of Chalet for this second point. And Rated and Reedy, they are starting to find their form a little bit as two heads do bite the dust, and Epsilon get the early hold.
Yeah, it looks like Rated has had the call of where they're coming through. He's going to spot Shane, and he's taking down. Pre-fire comes in, not enough to take down Nile, as Nile jumps around the corner. XR2, now 6-on-1 at the moment. Even putting a few hardpoint scores. He's going to make it 7-on-1. He's 300 away from his lightning strike.
Yeah, and I remember we were talking about the TCM boys saying we never see more than one person go off at once. This time, Bran and Nile sitting at the top of the score, but we'll see if that can stay consistent, because that could very well be the kind of start of something quite special for TCM. Still, they have the lead just for the early couple of rotations. We are going to be seeing Nile actually struggle to deal with Reedy as he just opens on up with his VMP. Reedy surely going to be going down some time soon. He did. Moose and Joe then fall back into old ways, and we're going to be seeing if they can continue to maintain this Chalet. But the rotate has happened, and you can see those scrap points will be going the way of TCM. Instead, we have to look towards the hut.
Yeah, TCM obviously in the lead, but once again, Epsilon quicker on the rotate for the second time out of 2. But TCM break it so quickly. Nile and Brand, the men of the moment here. Zerg and Shane adding to the score, each picking up 1, and now we see TCM take this away.
Yeah, what are they going to do in order to maintain this one? Epsilon looking to have some problems, but wow, he goes down without a fight. He finds one. Nile as well with his XR2, and now we see what the heat wave's going down. As Brand can use this to defend it even further. TCM, they're going to be bordering on 100 if they can manage to accumulate the majority here. He's going for the peak. Not sure what Brand is doing, as that's going to be kind of just exposing himself for no reason. Whatever floats your boat, mate, as we're going to be seeing the Heatwave get completely wasted. And just a kind of constant tit for tat here, 75 for TCM, just 26 for Epsilon, as they're just going to be getting those potentially those last goal of 10 points before the rotate happens.
Yeah, 50-point game at the moment, 3 minutes 40 on the clock. I can't stop looking at that. However, Reedy, Moose, Joe, and Rated, they are all negative. They've not picked anything up here. Not certainly gone out the first time they played this, but TCM obviously learning from their mistakes. Now keeping this lead, and as I just bring this up, the mini-map here, oh no, I'm not going to bring it up, as kills do exchange. TCM still holding this out. Bran joining the club here, he's going to pick up one, take down two, Joe falls, now Reedy falls as well. TCM just extending their lead here, getting better and better.
Yeah, this is a big step in the right direction. The Annihilate to shut down, kind of useless then in his hands, as we can see the TCM bordering on 100 as jumping into the rocks area. TCM, they've got a flurry of frags, but it's not about the frags really at this point. It's about that time on the point. And Bran and Shane have got about a minute combined between the two of them. There's another man right there, but I don't know what happened to him. I think his teammate may have caught him. Instead, though, he still has his heat wave, and he needs to try and deal with the Epsilon presence currently sitting in Chalet. Finds Reedy, and he's going to be ready and waiting for the rotate.
Yeah, and looking at this, the 60, 70 points down, but the one thing that Epsilon have is the rotation. Once again, they've been hotter on the rotation, pretty much all of them, but TCM just seem to have broke it every single time. I want to get on board with someone a little bit more in the action. It's Moose. He's going to be challenging this B. Search and Destroy bomb site. It's obviously not Search and Destroy, just the call out there for that mid-rush. Now, Moose still trying to put kills on the board. 13 and 14, getting back into it here. Kill after kill, all going Epsilon's way, and Moose really holding up here. 4 kills, 4 kill streak, should I say, as time is all going in Epsilon's favor.
Yeah, so we've got a bit more clarification on how the scoring is going to be working for this replay, because there was a 39-point advantage in favor of Epsilon when we did end the game. That, of course, carries over into the replay, and so Epsilon currently have an extra 39 points on top of that 78 you can currently see.
Ah, right, okay,
Quick
so
maths.
Pretty much even. If you do a couple of maths, 41, I'm not going to try and do it. Moose 16 and 16, though. TCM have this lead. Obviously, TCM need to win by basically 40 or more points. Let's keep it simple.
There you go.
TCM need to win by 40 or more points, and they're doing exactly that right now.
Yeah, let's see if they can continue it, because this is about to get pretty dicey. I say that, they find 3 quick ones. Reedy again with a double. His frags come in pairs. He is the Noah of the fragging Call of Duty world. As now we have to see just how long they can maintain it. Moose is on the way round. I'm assuming this is going to be expected, but no, so far the backs are turned, and Zerg's picked up a 2 with the Hellstorm. That's going to be Moose's response, though. He's coming right around behind him. He's only going to get 1. All of that hard work, all of that legwork and time invested for just the 1.
Yeah, and 30 seconds left on the clock in the middle here. Usually scrap points, but TCM are taking the majority here. They've got about a 60-point game, probably 50 now, as Rated and Moose and Reedy all combined putting kills on the board. TCM fall, now trying to answer back with a few. But for me, the interesting thing is here is TCM just haven't taken their foot off the gas. They're pushing through, they're getting the points. Reedy rotating early, and again, I've said it time and time again, I feel like a pirate. Epsilon getting the rotation ahead of TCM.
Yeah, TCM, that's the one point they have been lacking. Epsilon always just dig their heels in, and TCM have to play for the retake. Let's see how that retake does take shape. Niall's already down, so they have to work with 3. Let's just have the heat wave to try and break the point. He does so. Bran hits the deck. He's going to hit the deck permanently, as Reedy does come on in with, again, a double. As I said already, he can only get those frags in pairs, it seems. He looks like Rated's going to be trying to take a quick hold on towards Kitchen. Does only last for a short period of time before Shane turns up, and again, Epsilon have these fraggers that can pick him up in the most surprising of circumstances, as Epsilon's lead is starting to grow, and those 39 points from the first kind of game, the first attempt at this game, are starting to become more and more fruitful.
Yeah, and of course, Epsilon getting a little bit more points on the board here. Looking at the board across all 4 players, everyone's getting a bit of time under their belt. There's no real objective player on either side at the moment. They're all putting kills, they're all putting numbers on the board. But for me, the real standout player at the moment is definitely Moose for Epsilon. Only one going positive at the moment, using this VMP, has kinetic armor.
Yeah, and this is kind of exactly what we saw the first time these guys played this one out. He was top of the scoreboard. I think he reached about 30 towards the end of this one. TCM are going to be able to get the early hold. This is what you were asking for beforehand. You said already Epsilon are rotating better. This time, not the case. To say that, though, Moose has just got himself 2, not 3. Rated finds it for him, and that's going to be a very quick retake. An early control to Hill has been given to Epsilon. So it's just to clarify, guys, when I have the maths in my head, basically, when Epsilon get to 212, they have won.
Right. Okay, I understand that. But as we see on the lead here, 158 to 157, Epsilon take the lead here on this scoreboard. Of course, we'll bring you everything else in the meantime, but Epsilon are a little bit ahead right now. Brand trying to answer back, and only 2 minutes 20 on the clock here. For me, it looks even. I mean, this game is even, but obviously that advantage they took in from the first time really paying dividends to them now.
Yeah, so technically about 70 points needed for Epsilon to pick up this win, and those first, like the couple of 3 points they've been given to Epsilon could just be taking them little inches further in the right direction. TCM, yes, they have the lead in this one. It is so very minor, and it's going to really fall to how this one plays out on this hill. I'm getting a little disorientated, excuse me. We are on the rocks, though. And it's going to be Moose who finds it. It's
confusing to kind of almost keep up when the scores are so level, like what this at the moment, 172 to 175. But really, Epsilon have that, almost comfort safety net below them of around 40 points. It is looking like it's going to go Epsilon's favor. But TCM trying to answer back now with a couple of kills and also points on the board. Let's jump on board with Shane, who's trying to put damage into Reedy. Does take him down.
Luck of the hip fire. That's not lucky, though. Finds Moose. Is going to get punched in the back by Joe. As he did actually make a second with this HVK, causing havoc with it. As it does look like they're going to be for a very early rotate. Look at this from Zerg. Here's someone there already waiting for him. Look at the patience on Reedy, sitting on the rotate 15 seconds before the actual point spawns. And that's pretty impressive stuff.
Yeah, Shane trying to challenge there, but Moose, again, does get taken down. I think Niall will be on the point. No, Niall also gets taken down. He's going to be rated. He's going to be in there with the scythe. 198 to 180. It's looking like it's going Epsilon's favor. They only need about 15 more points, Machine.
Yeah, playing to 212. That is the magic number. And already they are just 6 points away. Holding it with the scythe for only so long. Niall finally has a Tempest, but is it enough? Moose doesn't think so, as this looks like the final point. That is going to be the victory then for Epsilon, if the maths is correct. I certainly hope it is, as they're going to keep on playing. And we do have ourselves a victor, folks. Epsilon picking it up, and they're going to, you can see TCM just going to have to roll over and accept it, as we do have the replay result. It is exactly identical to the first time, and Epsilon take an early lead.
Yeah, and I've got to say, I think, justified there, Epsilon. They were really, really strong in the first side, really, really strong here in the second. Can they take it into Search and Destroy? I'm going to get what I want. I'm going to see this Search and Destroy coming up, Machine. I'm excited, to say the least. But Hardpoint looking dominant by Epsilon.
Indeed it is. You can see that they are just going to be playing this one out for giggles at this point, I think. For honor, maybe or not. Maybe they're not aware that the game is in fact over. Just going to be seeing Epsilon play for those last couple of points. In fact, there they come. That's 9, that's 10. There we go. 250 to 180 will be the final scoreline. Or 212 to whatever it was, if you have to go back and rewind. But that's going to be coming to a close, and we do once again set our sights on Search and Destroy. Now, Phil, now you get what you're after. And of course, that very sweeping statement that Epsilon have made will be tested.
I've had the time to calm down. I've had the time to recollect my thoughts, settle down a little bit.
Deep breath.
But now I'm getting excited.
Yeah, now it's time.
Now it's time for Search and Destroy.
Okay.
After this short, obviously, while they change their classes and all that kind of stuff, we get a chance to obviously reflect on that. But the only thing I took from it, really, Hardpoint, Epsilon, they just seemed a little bit further ahead.
Yeah.
More set up, more disciplined. And TCM just, even they had such a good start. They did exactly the same against Millennium last week. They just couldn't keep it up. It was almost like too much for them to handle.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was just a game of rotations. I think you made it very clear that Epsilon, every single time, they were the ones on the point first.
Yeah.
They seemed to have a really good read on it. They managed to almost kind of invest the right individual to keep the enemy team busy, keep TCM on the hill battling for those last few points, while they already had that good kind of initial hold on the rotate. And I think that's almost it. That's what TCM were lacking. They didn't quite have it in the bag, and now we just have to think about what's coming into our second in this best of 5. It's going to be Search and Destroy, and it's going to be good.
It's going to be good. I'm hoping we can see a close one, to say the least. But Epsilon, the guys from Epsilon have said they're very, very confident in every single Search and Destroy that they do and play. But TCM, on the other hand, they've got different goals for this, this stage, this season. That they're kind of worlds apart, if you like. But there's always chance for an upset. Matt, I mean, game number 1 we saw upset. LDLC took it over Vitality. Game number 2, obviously Giants getting their first victory on the board. Can we see TCM fight and get a victory over Epsilon? At the minute, not looking too good, but obviously we're only map 1 down.
Yeah, and I mean, the next one's going to be on Search and Destroy Infection as well, so you have to keep that one in mind. At the forefront of your mind, they said, Epsilon, we're not going to lose a Search and Destroy game. Well, on Infection, there is a lot of potential surprises. We've seen it twice, and we've seen 2 very different attempts at like kind of variations on an attack. We've seen A rushes, we've seen a lot of players invested in towards middle, we've seen fast nades, we've seen pushes towards long, we've seen, you know, psychosis rushes. There's so much available here on not only this map, but this game mode, and I'm looking forward to seeing if Epsilon can live up to their rather large words.
Of course, 6 rounds is the aim for all teams. 5 seconds plant timer, 7.5 diffuse timer. Infection, Search and Destroy. We've seen her already twice today. For me, definitely one to watch. You're going to see this preferred bomb site of B. But of course, you will see the likes of Giants switching things up, attacking that A bomb site, putting that one person under pressure. But for me, I'm going into this now after speaking to them all. I want to know what Epsilon are doing. I want to watch them and see, why are they so good? What have they got that no other team has?
And that's the beauty of it. That's what we have, of course, with you as the observer as well. We get to kind of just pick apart what's going so right for them, if it is, and also get to, you know, and analyze what the enemy team aren't doing. Like, what are the absences? What are the kind of compare and contrasts? And of course, the beauty of this is we are going to be swapping every single round, and so you get to see what Epsilon did on their attack, and then you quite literally immediately get to see what the response is from their opponents. Of course, this time TCM. So we're going to be, keeping our eyes locked on this one. More so, of course, intrigued to see whether or not we're going to be seeing a 4th map, potentially.
Potentially. I mean, after for me, I've got in the back of my mind all the time of what these guys have said. I see Search and Destroy going Epsilon's way. I back them with that. Uplink, it's the momentum changer. It's the game changer, if you like. For me, at the moment, I can only see Epsilon taking it. I can see a 3-0. That's my prediction. No fence this week.
Nice, I like it.
But I could be wrong. I have been before.
That's
like the last 2 series.
That's what, you know, believe it or not, Phil, that's actually what a prediction is.
Yeah.
Something that can be wrong.
I'm new to this. I'm new to this prediction.
So that's what happens is basically you say who you think is going to win, and then if they don't, you go, I was wrong.
Right, okay. Is that okay?
That's how it works. Yeah, but we'll get used to it. You know, they've got loads of time to kind of get our head around this complex kind of concept. But for now, we're going to be loading into this one very shortly. Let's break down the map. We already talked a lot about kind of the 2 teams. We've talked about what we want to see from Excel. Of course, that it comes down to more individuals performing, not just the one. Niall turned up again. He seems like he was he had his head screwed on nice and tight for hard point, even though he played it twice. Real solid stuff from him. Now they're into Search and Destroy. I want to see more individuals turn up. What I do want to see, though, is more of that mid-rush play.
Yeah.
I got a taste for it from the French.
Like, even on the attacking side, it's very easy on the attack to go just a 1-bomb site. So generally speaking, very symmetrical. You go left to 1-bomb site, right to the other. As an attacking team, if you choose this kind of mid-rush, you've seen it on evac now, and you've seen it previously on breach. Yeah. It's kind of, you're putting all your eggs in one basket, but you're going through the middle, and genuinely you're splitting the other team up. You know, you're pushing 2 to the left, 2 to the right, probably each bomb site. And for me, that's where you can capitalize on it. You can outnumber the other team, and really take a lot from it. And we've seen mainly Giants do that on evac.
Yeah, I think what the kind of the thing that means it's so powerful, the kind of the power play in pushing middle, is that you become unpredictable as a team, because it's, you know, basically you're playing for picks. If you push up middle and you get a pick towards A, that bomb's going down ASAP, especially considering if on this map A is going to be under-defended, undermanned, you would expect, with B being the more preferred hold. So you push through middle. If the A guy pushes, it's his loss, and you've got yourself a quick plant. If he doesn't, you've got 2 picks on B, and now you're flexible. Like that's why I see the strengths to it. Of course, the weaknesses are there's a lot of kind of ways you can peek it. You peek it with just thrusting up over the wall. You can peek it from the church. You can peek it from over on the A side. Or the right-hand side as well. I was going to say the A-hand side.
I always fall into that trap of going the right and the left-hand side.
When really, that makes no sense.
From our perspective is what we mean. Or from a certain side attacking defense. But we'll try and steer away from that.
We can do that.
We'll steer in the other direction, not left or right.
Straight
ahead. Go. Keep on trucking.
We're talking nonsense, of course, because that's just how we roll. We seem to be constantly talking nonsense. Hopefully you guys are enjoying it at home, and of course we are still wanting to hear from you guys your thoughts just on this series as a whole. You know the hashtag by now, I bet you do. It's CWL PS4, and you can just throw that straight on over at COD World League. Let us know if you think you're in the same boat as Phil. Is this just going to be a kind of a 3-0 stomp, or are we going to see a little bit more light in the eyes of TCM? Just throw that over to us and we can get your answers up on screen. So while you're doing that, we're going to be talking about the ban and protects, because that's going to be coming up any second now. Search and destroy. Let's go through the staples. M8.
M8 and Vesper. Whether
Concussion.
Yep.
Flash. HCXD.
High caliber, rapid
High
fire.
caliber, rapid fire. That's 8.
We're missing a few, but you can't have all of them at once. Otherwise, you'd see the same 8 every single time. Wouldn't be very entertaining. For me, though, the real ones that kind of stick it out every single time is that your high caliber and rapid fire are taken out. We'll see very shortly whether it's ban or protect is the best friend in the M8. Moose has opted to protect it, and it looks like the M8 has also been opted to be protected as well. Okay.
Comfortable picks then for both of them. We are going to be seeing the concussion. Is the flash going to follow that is the question. Maybe, just maybe, they'll choose to get rid of that kind of rapid fire. And no, you know what? Overkill from Shane. He's making that decision. He's making the executive decisions instead to remove the possibility of both sniper and SMG play.
Yeah, and the flashbangs, exactly the same for Rated and Reedy. They don't want any tactical grenades flying around the map. High caliber is taken down by Zerg and Nile or Joe. I'm reckoning a rapid fire, and I'm thinking,
that's a good call.
What else should I call?
Rapid fire, and I mean maybe a specialist, maybe a score streak.
Overdrive. I'm going to go with.
Okay.
Overdrive and rapid fire to be banned. Come on. There's 1 out of 2. Joe, don't let me down. A fellow ginger. Come on.
Let's see what you got for us. And
come on, Joe. There's no need to ban the EMP. No one was planning on using the EMPs. Maybe they were. Maybe they were.
Well, I mean, that's an interesting one. I think that's the first of its kind. The first EMP ban.
Joey's not a fan of the electromagnetic pulse entering his AO. Yeah, okay. We'll go with that. But one thing it does mean is all the specialists are available. Your overdrive, your kinetic armor, your active camo, and as they all get picked there, Bran Rated, glitch and heatwave.
I thought Zag just picked something a bit naughty there. I thought I just saw a Ripper, but I didn't. Instead, active camo makes an appearance. We are going to be
Joe going to do now?
With the kinetic armor and overdrive. That's a mirror matchup if ever I saw one. The one change, actually, excuse me, is going to be glitch for heatwave.
Yes, Joe. That for me, it's really weird with Joe because yes, that suits him. I've always seen Joe as this objective player, running fast on search and destroy, playing objective in hard points. But he seems to be in the respawns, taking this assault rifle kind of method, and then in the search and destroy, it looks like he's probably the one going back to his roots with the bomb. Maybe I'll be wrong. I'm sure they will prove me wrong. Are we going to see a clean sweep there? Looks like it is. On the right-hand side is Epsilon. I'm going to run you through. I know it says TCM there at the top. But Moose, Reedy, Rated, and Joe for Epsilon. TCM, on the other hand, Bran, Shane, Zerg, and Nile. Mirror matchup here with the specialists. But let's have a look now. Heatwave, Heatwave and glitch is the only difference.
Just while I was digging through, while you were letting everyone know what has been picked up, you know, you talk about Joe being the objective-based player, and I know these stats still leave a lot to be desired, but I can tell you that Joe definitely had the most plants in his search and destroy game so far. He's sitting at almost triple the amount of plants as anyone else on his team. And that's, of course, just through the 2 search and destroy games they've played so far. 3 plants for him already in the World League, and I think we're going to be seeing more to follow. The overdrive kind of, would you say that works for that? Because I've always considered overdrive as an offensive kind of specialist to pick up. You can pick it up and just go for these kind of very early aggressive rushes, get under the skin of your opponent, but I guess it also works in the terms of like a fast plant.
Yeah, overdrive, it's just to get in a position where the enemy's not expecting you, take them by surprise, or if you're that quick, get inside a bomb area, whether it's a house or a halt or just an open space, and get the bomb down quick. Because once you do, you're basically switching your attacking rounds into your defensive. You're putting the other team on the back foot, and that's what I use overdrive for. If when I'm playing search and destroy, and I'm playing in these kind of situations, I pick overdrive, and I'm my role, if I was to play it, I'd be going through mid map, I'd be getting into B straight away, because you don't want to give that bomb site up. You want to make sure that you're in a situation which is you're in like a qualmless situation, if you like. There's no qualmless. Speaking rubbish now.
I'll take qualmless.
It's a qualmless. You want to be in a qualmless situation.
That sounds amazing.
Where no one's in your vicinity. No one's kind of harming you at all. No one's causing you any qualms. That's what I'm trying to say. But going into this, that's what overdrive can cause. That is what overdrive can give you. is that that situation where you have a bit more breathing room and a bit more time. Let's jump on board with the attacking team, though, and that is going to be TCM.
Let's see what TCM can do then, as they've got to try and maneuver that bomb as fast as they possibly can. Shane going for that initial cast of his eyes towards that cross. No one's interested in that one. Instead, we are going to be seeing someone jump for intel. And then with the information gathered, there is actually... Oh, hang on a second. Joe is going straight in contact with someone on the other side of things. Excuse me, it was Bran. The man on the other side of things was Joe, as he finds that one. And Moose quickly gets a second as well. Looks like the Epsilon are starting with a pretty loud bang. As they pick up 3, looks like Moose is going to be finding that final frag as well. Very quick start for the boys of Epsilon.
I mean, Epsilon wanted to prove that they were good at search and destroy. This is how they do it. I'm not sure what they're doing differently, but they're certainly proving themselves right.
Up.
Yeah, they're sticking together, sticking as a team. And of course, they're so individually skilled as well, taking down the opposition. But round number 2, TCM will obviously be on the defense.
Yeah, so let's see what Epsilon do differently on the attack. They claim to want to go undefeated in search and destroy. They think they have the ability to do so. Let's see if they're doing anything special. Looks like they're going to be sending one man fast. It's going to be Joe straight through that kind of outside rocket. Look at Moose just charging through middle. Does have to pay with his life, but he took down Nile. Does mean that the bomb site's going to be clear, and TCM immediately have shut down Epsilon on this offensive and continue to do so as Shane finds that. Now all onto Reedy. He has 3 to find, but he is behind enemy lines. You see 2 players just around it behind that wall. Instead, he's going to go for the long route. Going to come into contact with someone there towards tank. Takes his time with the RK5, does put a couple into the spine of Bran. Now, decisions to be made. 50 seconds, and he's being hunted.
Swaps his RK5 for another RK5. Picks up his old RK5 with extended mags. Tactical switch. Is he going to go for this sniper? He's seen both of them. This is where he's in a spot of trouble, but he's used his recon. He knows where they are.
And this is smart. He knows one's going to peek up at any point, at any second. Now RK5's there, that's 2. Reedy surely not the 3rd. Zerg now down, sleeping with the fishes, and he has to find Shane, the seasoned veteran. You can't outsmart Shane, and looks like Shane did have the angle, but not enough. Does have his nade to hand in 25 seconds. Time becoming a bit of a factor here, as the bomb is still loose on B, and it comes down to fragging. Does bring out the SVG, doesn't hit the shot, and now just 15 seconds. You need to find those bullets. He knows he hasn't got time. Shane knows it as well, and it becomes a bit of a marathon as they just start to run away from each other. Shane does manage to slide on through and realize with the bomb under control, he can just play for survival.
Reedy's
gonna get it. Oh my god, he's hunted him down. He didn't find the bullets though. Oh, and Reedy, that was everything. The kill was handed to him on a silver platter. Shane's back was turned. I assumed Shane had picked this one up, but no, he covered the right ground, but he couldn't find the frag.
I can't believe he didn't die. I'm not gonna lie. I'm sat here thinking, Shane, did you use kinetic armor? Did you use something? He didn't. He just survived this wrath of Reedy's RK5. I think it was 2 bursts to him, but Reedy nearly pulled off the impossible.
Oh my god, that very, very nearly was the 1v3. In fact, everything correlated to that being a 1v3, but Shane, as you said already, that kind of secret kinetic armor he implemented has worked out well. Oh my god, good angle held from Zerg. He didn't manage to find the shot, instead he meleeed in frustration as he had to watch those ones slip away.
Yeah, he's got a spot 1. Rated gets picked off. Reedy got the first pick. We missed that onto Bran, but now Zerg picking up a sniper kill of his own. I love just the elevation you can get. Oh, and look at that.
They meet in the air, an exchange of glances, and it does, of course, favor TCM. As now the bomb's going to be going down, and Reedy has a 1 versus 2. Cooks the nade, just throwing out, but doesn't like the bomb's going to be going down just yet. Instead, he brings out an SVG of his own, and to no avail. He's trying, he had a 1v3 opportunity before. Now he has a 1v2 to overcome. And with 40 seconds left, the bomb's going to be going down, though, and he's going to have to come down to the defuse. Shane under pressure. It doesn't look like it's going to be too much problem, though. Traded out by Zerg, keeps his teammates safe, and we see TCM second.
TCM 2-1 up in the search and destroy. Could they bring a stop to Epsilon's undefeated search and destroy at the moment? They won't be too happy with that. But Reedy left again, last alive, RK5 in hand. It's, you know, he shouldn't be left in these situations, but TCM are just shutting them down. I'm going to try and jump on board with the snipers. It's going to be just Reedy. Is he just using a sniper? No, he's changed out to a...
Did see another one, though.
Moose, and... yeah, I think sniper rifle is on the side of TCM.
Early start, just going to be seeing rated traded out. Did find 1, but not going to be finding a second because Moose is doing all of the fragging for him. Nile with a 2, and now just Joe left alone. So, like, such quick flurry of frags it seems to be here on Infection Search and Destroy.
Yeah, and Joe now last alive. But, going for the rotate. Maybe he'll go for an A side. I mean, it looks like here, just bringing up the mini-map, that the boys on TCM just taking a bit of a back foot, kind of giving both bomb sites up, letting Joe have free reign of this. And of course, when this bomb does go down, this is when they pounce. This is when they're going for it, but it looks like they've gone for B, and it's not going to be the right decision. You're going to see those arrows change and turn around. There you go. They're going to probably push right through B now, as we see them sticking together. I like the way that TCM are sticking together. Niall and Bran.
I love what Joe's doing here with his position. He's going to be able to watch the cross from a distance. He knows one's there, but because he's expecting a second, he's going to have made noise with that dismount. And now he's just going to be hitting that prone button hard. 25 seconds. He knows he's got to play enough time for that defuse to be coming in. The two players have now managed to position themselves on the side, but he finds one with the RK5. Now it is a 1 versus 1, and it comes down to what Bran can do. Bran has completely left, completely vacated the site. A little bit of a foolish maneuver from him, because now Joe has just got the time to just check the site. If there's no defuse, he has one. All good in the hood. 6 seconds isn't going to be enough for the defuse, and Bran knows it.
Yeah, the one thing that I love about Joe's play there is when he picked up the first kill, the other guy could have been defusing, but he took that kind of 50-50 risk. He went away and thought, this guy will chase me, you know. He's not going to carry on defusing. I've
created enough of a commotion.
Yeah, and I like that, because the first thing I always do, you know, I'd be the one, right, this is my thoughts. I'd go, oh, right, I've killed him. Let's go and check if he's defusing the bomb. Yeah. But no, Joe was like, I'm out of here. See you later. And it paid off for him. 2-2. Epsilon back in the game here on Search and Destroy. As TCM took that early lead. Now TCM on this attack. Let's see, Zerg sniping. Yeah, so I'll stay on board with Zerg.
Okay, this is the kind of, we saw a very nice opening pick from him before. He goes onto that rock and just kind of casts his eyes over to see if there's anyone early on that headshot glitch. There's another one there, not going to find the shot, whistles past the Epsilon player's ear, and he's just going to be holding back passive as a, did I just see a dart released?
Who's got that dart out? It's Shane. Oh, he's surely got this.
Make the call! There you go, into the heels of Moose. He also caught a glimpse of a second one, and they now know that, I mean, process of elimination, 1 sandbags, but they're not going to be expecting one behind them. But actually, no, Shane catches a glimpse, and they've kind of done the math. They know almost all 3 of the members of Epsilon are. Now it just comes down to aim. Yeah,
and it is a 3 versus 3. At the moment, 2-2, 45 seconds left on the clock, but this is going to be a war battle. Really picks up one, slides in. Shane is the man to take him down. 2 versus 2 as the clock ticks down. Shane and Zerg against Joe and Rated.
They're not willing to commit to this plant just yet. They know it's just too damn risky. 30 seconds. They want to get another frag in that kill feed, but does look like it's almost time, little too much time spent with Zerg on the outside. Now he's being flanked from 2 angles, and it's going to cost them the round. Surely no. Shane finds it. 24 seconds, but the bomb is loose, and Joe knows it. He's being hunted. He's going to close on. Did too close, Joe. What are you doing? He's kind of risking it for a biscuit. The hipfire isn't there. Joe with the pistol. That's 2 times now we have seen these rounds go absolutely haywire. And Joe, bit of a miracle with the RK5, managed to pick up that win.
Yeah, knowing Shane right now that he will be so angry how that's not taken down Joe. He put 2 bursts into him. He managed to just slide away, reload that RK5, and still take him down. And for me, that was a big round in the favor of Epsilon.
My question is why was that bomb not spotted, not call made that the bomb is now loose, and Shane actually was the one that had to make the move. But we'll talk about that in a second, because Joe has just glided straight on in. He has got the Pika's angle, and that should be his. No, he's going to be kicking himself. Zerg got it, so did Shane. This time picking the Vespris, venting his frustrations with some SMG play. Bran finds one in middle, and all of a sudden, Moose, with still a minute on the clock and more, is left in a 1 versus 2.
Yeah, Moose.
That could be a good nade, actually. That could be good.
Frag goes out, picks up Bran. So precise there with that grenade. Frag comes in, bounces off that sandbag area. He's going to pick up the bomb now in a 1v1.
Yeah, he's going to be kind of considering whether or not he wants to get this bomb down immediately. Cautious, of course, from behind. And that's exactly where Niall's going to be coming from. Does he check it? No, Niall is going to be a little bit furious when he sees that bomb does go down. As the digits have been punched in, you would assume, no, it looks like he's taken himself off it. Moose changed his mind.
Maybe Moose saw him.
But now he holds it. He has repositioned himself, so he is kind of protected by that bomb, that bulletproof bomb. Niall's going to be well alerted to his position now, though, as the explosives are down. It's going to be coming to close quarters, and that's precision. That, my friends, is what we were after beforehand, and Moose makes it 4.
I love that play from Moose. Just watching this again, just watch how he kind of slides out, anchors himself with the M8, and he doesn't miss a bullet, even from the hip fire, straight in the upper neck. I'm going to be...
Nice and precise. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Almost as precise as his aim.
Oh, yes. You went there, machine.
Now, we have to see what they can do on the attack. It's going to be TCM again. It does feel like we kind of just see rinse and repeat. Zerg has a go, and Shane sometimes gets an opener, but now we have to see what's happening on the other side. It does look like they're going to be going for a split, a 2-2 split to be precise. Not one member from Epsilon is on A at this very moment in time. But already, hang on a second, is Brant on B?
He is on B, and Shane's going around here, and he's going to call out that there is no one on this side. So one thing I would like to say is Brand turn round. There's no one out there. Shane has that covered with the HC car. Obviously, there's one there poking. Shane's going to push up this right side, but he knows this whole lane is clear.
Middle is going to be the problem now.
Yeah, middle is definitely the problem. But if there's one man to watch it, it's going to be Shane, opting for the M8.
Yeah, looking for his 10th kill already here in Search and Destroy. Going to be thrown out an 8 just away, lay and delay. Niall, in the meantime, did catch on rated as the H6D actually got caught by that nade. Bomb in, 40 seconds. TCM just need to keep them at arm's length. There are 3 players all around him. He's just playing, kind of shooting fish in a barrel. Those 2 fish are down. Brand responsible for that as well. That's a double with the Vesper, and he's keeping things close. 3 to 4. And seems like TCM seem to be finding kind of flurries of solid team play.
Yeah, again, Shane put 2 bursts into that guy running mid and just, you know, it didn't put him on his feet. But his pistol finished things off. He put a few bullets into another assist for him in his belt. Let's see, 4-3 Epsilon at the moment. TCM, though, trying to fight their way back into it. And Shane, 10 and 4. He's having a really good game. On the other side, though, Moose 8 and 5 has that kinetic armor.
Yeah, you think he's going to be using it on the offense?
In about 2, 3, 2, yeah.
There it is, goes for the early exchange. He's going to pick it up onto Shane. Oh, tagged up the second as well. He is going to be pressurized and eliminated by Niall, though, with the Vesper. As a potential, another one kind of traded out by Reedy. He can see he's got active camos, maybe considering using that one, but no, instead he's just going to tag. Joe gets the frag, and all good in the hood for them. Bob's going to be going in, get hunted down, and wow, the round came to a close all too soon. 5-3, as Bran, who was the last man standing for his team, did get shredded.
Yep, Reedy here on the final kill cam. He's going to pull out the M8 and close things out. Bran never going to stand a chance there up against 2 M8s in his face. Potentially the last round, though, going into round number 9. Epsilon can close this out right here, right now. Yeah,
and as they said, we do not plan to lose a single Search and Destroy. Let's see if they can kind of live up to that prophecy that they have set upon themselves. Heatwave is available. Bomb in the hands of Brandon. It looks like he's potentially going to go for that early peak. I think that would be very foolish, especially considering the amount of players that are currently around that corner. Early nades, crosshairs all set on him. He's going for it now. He wants to try to break it with the Heatwave. Does manage to catch one. It was Niall and Zerg who, in fact, are doing the fragging for TCM, and it falls very quickly to Reedy's side of the court, but he's having none of it. Shane puts a couple of bullets into his belly button, and that makes it 4-5. Are we going to be seeing that 11th round? The question will be answered very soon.
Yeah, even though Reedy didn't pick any... Bran, even though Bran didn't pick up any kills with the Heatwave, really opened that right-hand side lane up for his team. A big influence in that victory. Kind of an unsung hero of that round. And we're going to go on board now with Epsilon, with Joe. It's 5 and 7. Looks like they're going for an A. Oh, no, they're not going. They're going for a B push, but Joe is going around the left-hand side. Now, oh, active camo. I love this versus active camo. We got our wish.
Just what we asked for. Just what we asked for, Phil. In the end, it doesn't look like it's going to be favoring TCM. They want to take this into a round 11. Just Joe then kind of questioning his team's decisions as he realizes that he's going to have to come into contact with all 4. Not going to happen. 5-5. Time for a round 11.
Now, can TCM...
This would be nuts. This would be crazy.
Epsilon was so confident in their Search and Destroy. They were so confident saying that, you know, they can take on North American teams in regards to this, but they said they were better than every other team in Europe at Search and Destroy, hands down. Our TCM gonna cause an upset. I'm gonna jump on board with the attacking team. It's Epsilon. Moose is 9 kills to 8. Swaps to the... Oh, we've got a glitch play potentially.
What's his plan with that one? Actually, someone's going for a fast one. Who is that taking the risk?
Kinetic armor came into play there. You saw Rated trying to put some bullets down. I think it was actually a sniper kill that came down. But who is this? HC car. I'm trying to find him. It's Niall. He's pushed up so far.
And then what's he going to go from here? 60 seconds. He went so aggressive so quickly. And now we do see ourselves in a 3v2. TCM do not have the advantage. And Epsilon looking to defend our honor at this point. Reedy holding the angle. He's going to catch a glimpse of one, but no! Great exchange, and Zerg finds him, brings it back to a level game. And in 45 seconds, we will have an answer to whether or not Epsilon can stay Search and Destroy champions. Let's get spotted out. Joe does the damage, but not enough. Backs away, retreats. Looks to take this one into the full final, like 10 seconds or so, because the bomb is nowhere near a sight, and the 2 defenders are looking good.
Yeah, Zerg needs to watch his back, though. Potentially a flank coming into play. 25 seconds left on the clock. It's all going to go down here, Machine. Honestly, this could go either way, 2 versus 2.
They need to catch him on the cross, otherwise that bomb's going to be going down. We need to jump on over to Niall's perspective, because, hang on a second, he's going to be the one trying to come right down. What's going on?
Naz actually picked up a huge kill. It's only Joe who can finalize things. Can he go for the plant?
7 seconds, 6 seconds, 5 seconds. He knows he hasn't got time. Surely he knows he's just throwing this one away. Joe, what are you doing? Why are you not getting the bomb down? You foolish man. We are going to be seeing TCM best Epsilon in what happens to be the most confusing couple of seconds. Niall, we knew he had to catch that frag on the crossing. You can see he did exactly that. The bomb was loose, and it was Moose who did go down.
I was so excited to be like in week 5, like Epsilon still undefeated in Search and Destroy. But that's not going to happen because TCM take it away on the first time. You know, I mean, I spoke to them like 24 hours ago. They were so confident, and I wanted them. I wanted them to be this Search and Destroy team. I wanted to be the ones to watch, the ones to kind of beat everyone else. But TCM definitely one not to rule out. Their Search and Destroy gameplay now. Bran, of course, Shane, that prolific leader coming in.
Well, I mean, he was fragging. It wasn't leading, he was fragging.
Oh, yeah.
In that one, or killing, if you want to kind of tell me off for saying that word.
Fragging's fine. Fragging is a very well-known term in esports.
Indeed it is. Indeed it is. Leave me alone. But what we do need to highlight, actually, throughout that one, was that, I mean, TCM have just put a big middle finger up to Epsilon and just said, like, yo, undefeated in Search and Destroy, you joking? We're TCM and we're going to make that difficult as they bring up that 6-5 victory on Infection, Search and Destroy. And straight up, you know, people were saying this is one of the more likely 3-0s.
Yeah.
TCM, make it interesting.
Again, we're not going to see another 3-0. TCM obviously right at the bottom there, 0-2. This is literally like underdog day. Can they come back and take it away? If
this happens, if we have a full underdog day, I will eat a hat. If I had a hat, I don't have a hat.
I've got one, so I would choose your words
carefully. What?
Yeah,
so you're telling me?
Wisely.
Yeah. Okay. I will. If there was a hat, I will eat it. If Splice beat Infuse and Pulse beat Millennium as well.
Oh, Pulse.
Yeah, there you go.
I will. He's going to come right down to the wire.
I'll get some sriracha sauce, put it all over, and I'll eat a hat.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah. So it could happen, but I think that Pulse Millennium one might be a little bit too far.
I think that's where I kind of pushed it a little
That's
too far.
That's where you put your feet up and you go. I think Millennium got this. Millennium,
but it could very well be like a 4 out of 5 underdog day. Like it really could go that far.
It could be, it could.
But we'll stop speculating because we have a lot more of Call of Duty to come just for this game alone. We've got Uplink, Capture the Flag, and Search and Destroy. The maps for those are interesting because we have Uplink Breach, Fringe CTF, and then that we have that Search and Destroy evac. We've seen it once already today, and it plays really nicely. I'm a big fan of that kind of combination. Evac, Search and Destroy.
Yeah, it's close quarters. You can get in the face of your enemy very, very quickly. But for me, it's we can watch this minimap because there's so many different routes. Like from the middle, you can go, you know, through to each bomb site. You can go round the back. It's almost like a big crosshair, if you like.
Yeah.
But because of the wall running, because of everything, different dynamics of the game, it's not just kind of your standard lanes. Yeah. That's what I like about evac. There's no real, there is those 3 kind of basic lanes, but there's
they're all so interconnected. Yeah. There's so many different routes off from one lane to another that there is this kind of constant chaos, which works so well for Search and Destroy when life is so important, so valuable. Not coming into that yet, though, because we are going into Uplink on Breach. Uplink already has proven to provide some of those real kind of games to remember. I'm struggling not to burp on mic, but there we go. Breach, Uplink, and I mean, we've seen some kind of kooky lineups, but that's not the only thing to look forward to.
Yeah, Breach, Uplink, unlimited score, 5 minutes on the clock, and 5 seconds, obviously, for the respawn as well. Now, the last time we saw this, some very different gameplay, shall we see, obviously using the wall running to kind of run down that clock. Will we see that here? The one thing that I'd be interested to see is, you know, are Epsilon going to stick to their guns? Are they going to stick to what they know now they just come off the back of a defeat in Search and Destroy? Or are they going to go back to using them shock charges, using those rejacks, if you like? I don't think they will, but it's obviously always an option. Yeah,
and I think that's something we're going to kind of... Well, I mean, my main qualm, I'm just going to stick that one on. I'm
a big fan of the qualm.
You love the qualm.
And the qualmless situations.
Qualmless.
And how everything's qualmless.
Yeah, so can you have something that was calm and qualm? You have no qualms with things being calm?
I have no qualms with this right now.
No, you have no qualms.
No qualms with using the word qualm.
Well, if we go into Fringe, you can have no qualms in Barn while they keep it calm. Didn't quite sound as good as I thought it would.
It didn't really rhyme. I
tried. Oh well, I had to go. Needless to say, we are starting to lose our sanity, but it's only game 3. We've got 2 more to come up after this one, and we need to go ahead and turn it back to the sane notch. There's a couple over there. There we go. Feeling more sane already. Deep breath. We haven't really stopped talking. That's what's kind of happened here. is we're just going to go ahead and be nice and calm, slow things down.
Calm, collective.
Epsilon versus TCM is currently underway.
Yeah.
Splice versus Infused is going to be your next game you have to look forward to. And then Millennium versus Pulse to round out the day. That was the one where you suggested that underdog story might be just a little too much of an underdog. That's like a Chihuahua up against like a big hench.
About a Rottweiler. However, I was going to say something about dogs, but it's probably wrong. I heard it when I was about 4 years old.
Oh, I was intrigued.
They see things like the opposite almost. So like if you're a little tiny dog and you see a huge dog, they think they're bigger.
The little dogs do?
Yeah, they think they're a lot bigger, and that's why you see these huge, massive dogs kind of backing down to these little yappy chihuahuas and stuff.
Oh, really?
May have been told that when I was about 4 as a lie.
I believe that,
but
though.
I'm going to say it's fact, and I'm going to tell everyone it's a fact.
It's like, you know, that kind of, they call it like whatever it is, like small dog syndrome, where the little dogs they're just angry because they're small.
Yeah, just crazy.
And
yeah.
they just start shouting at
and
everyone.
this big, sluggish dog.
Like, I don't mind, hello.
Yeah,
That's what I imagine
give it
they
in.
sound like. Anyway, dogs aside, we're going to go ahead and move straight back into the ban and protect predictions for our game coming up. I mean, it's going to be on uplink. You're going to be seeing a lot of kinetic armor, a lot of active camo, anything that aids that drone delivery. And I think it's safe to say that they're either going to be highly contested bans or they're going to be highly contested over in the specialist draft.
Yeah, for me, you're looking at your overdrives, your active camos, kinetic armor, massive factor as well. But for me, active camo is one that I just love the plays that can be made, if you like, on uplink, purely because you can have that drone turn invisible for very, very short amount of time. It's not long at all, so you've got to use it very, very wisely. But if used correctly, you can sneak behind enemy lines, obviously popping it in for a 2 or 1 pointer. Of course, we've seen very, very close uplinks so far, and much like the other game modes as well. For me, I was so confident. I've almost been, you know, when you told something enough times, you believe it.
Yeah.
I had it in my head like Epsilon are going to win this search and destroy.
Yeah,
I've been told
Epsilon.
that they're the best, and it just didn't happen. Of course, very, very close. But now, looking at Zerg and Bran and Nile especially, you know, these new young talent, I feel that they have so much potential going into these game modes, like Capture the Flag, like uplink. Straight away though, Nile taking away that Vesper. And we've not seen the MA yet. Probably the 3rd pick, but Overdrive taken away.
Yeah, the question is whether it's going to be protected or not. Do they feel like they can kind of compete without that strong assault rifle? Nope, there it is. It's gone. See you later, Alligator. The M8 does leave us, as does the active camo. And I mean, on uplink, you're a lot more likely to see more specialist bans than you would normally. Concussion, flashbang soon to follow. You would expect, as is rapid fire alongside high caliber. Those are the predictions. Of course, those aren't necessarily set in stone. Just like the flashbang could potentially slip through as rapid fire does go. And just one more coming in. Nope, flashbang's there as well. And the predictability of ban and protects does continue.
However, massive change. The EMP is available machine.
Oh no, however, this game is going to be on its head. Who knows who's going to win now that the EMP is available? Of course, we have to remind you that was taken away as the 8th ban in the previous game on Search and Destroy. Joe was responsible for that one.
Joe, though, sticking with the Annihilator. Very much an Annihilator's player in the respawn. Teammate, though, as well, choosing another weapon, rated with the Scythe, and Reedy picking up that Heat Wave, flipping on his head, though. Niall was so good with the Tempest in the hardpoint, wasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he was. I'm pretty sure I made far too much noise when he picked up like 4 or 5 in a row, knocked them down so damn quickly. And I mean, that is the beauty. I mean, Mad Cat is another player who I kind of think, whenever I think Tempest, I think Mad Cat. He's had some crazy plays with it. Even if it was off stream, I think I've seen it over on his YouTube channel where he does just go like off the chain with Tempest. And it can be kind of hard to tame him with that one. But let's do the rosters for you then. Alongside Niall for TCM, we have Bran with his Heat Wave, Shane on the Kinetic Armor, Zerg bringing in the Scythe. And on the side of Epsilon, Phil, why don't you walk us through?
Epsilon, rated, sticking to his guns on Scythe. Obviously, the Assault Rifle player generally will always do that. And setting up camp, Joe with the Annihilator, Reedy, Heat Wave, and Moose finalising things with the Kinetic Armor. Very, very much like the opposing team. Okay, so Niall and Bran, Tempest Heat Wave, going up against the differences, which are the Annihilator for Joe, and also the Tempest. Yes, I'm getting a bit confused. Nevertheless, creating their classes, green ticks come in. Players are getting ready, going into this uplink as well. Rated always seems to be the first to be ready.
Yeah, I think he's got like kind of the movement down around those menus. He's just a speed demon, as he is going to be getting himself ready before anybody else. What you have to look forward to here then, folks, is a battle for mid control. That drone spawns in just the kind of the most deathly little postage stamp of a box that is so difficult to both kind of work your way through, unless you have someone like Toho, as you saw previously, who can just completely rain down terror. His entire role was to maintain control of that drone spawn point, and he did so to about 38 frags or something ridiculous. So you have to keep that in mind as we're going to be diving into this one very soon. Score streaks just being edited before we do jump on in. We didn't see any bans for score streaks just yet. In Uplink, it's usually quite a rarity. We do sometimes see some people go for some really kind of crazy score streaks, like we saw the Wraith, I think, the other day. So some people kind of try and do something silly, but for now, we're going to be seeing how TCM versus Epsilon plays out in our third game here in our best of 5.
Yeah, Breach Uplink for me, or Uplink in general, really, you're not going to see the score streaks too challenged. It's more about those specialists, you know, your overdrives, your heat waves, everything's, you know, you don't want people just kind of breaching in, no pun intended, with the map. But going ahead here, Breach Uplink, unlimited score, 5 minutes on the time limit. Bit of a mouthful, that one. But respawn delay, 5 seconds. Obviously, you can't just jump straight back into it like your hard point. The interesting thing about the map on the right-hand side, it kind of shows, I think... Oh, no, it's gone. Never mind. I was going to say it shows a very kind of valuable point for the wall running, but I'll point that out at a later date as we kick it off with Rated from Epsilon.
Yeah, see how far they can start this one off and see if they can start with a bang. No flashbang, though, considering that has been taken away as Moose does start strong. Look at this, though. The kill feed's just going to be so chaotic. And look at that. The ankle's caught by it. Rated as he takes him down. His teammate Reedy did it quite a similar start as well, as it's just going to be a little bit of a kind of, a skirmish in middle for that drone early.
Yeah, Rated setting up. He's gonna get taken down, shut down in fashion by Zerg. See what Joe's doing at the moment. EMP'd. Obviously, he's not a fan of that. Wishing he's banned it right now, but RK5 in hand. Zerg does shut him down as well.
Yeah, let's see if Moose with his VMP can do much more. Nope, just the one for him. As the initial 60 seconds does look like it's going to be just kind of a to and fro battle. No initial runs have been made. However, it does look like someone's about to consider it. Who is that right slap bang? It's Bran. He has gone and scooped it up. No one really there to cover him, though. He needs Zerg to find a few more if he wants to try and make this run. No, he's vulnerable from Palace. Gets shot on the side by Joe, and now Rated looking to scoop up from the corpse of Bran and make a run for himself.
Yeah, this is where he can do. He's gone for this wall run. He's going to go top greenhouse. He's got the support of his team. Is this a one or this is a 2-point play? He's gone for the higher elevation. He's going to go for it. We've seen it time and time again. Drop straight in, and that's a 2-pointer for him. You almost know when they're going for that kind of that high elevation that they're going to go for it.
Well, of course, the beauty of that is when you do kind of position yourself so high above it, even if you die, the chances are that that drone will fall from your cold, dead hands in for that 2-pointer, and it does indeed work that way. Now, though, Shane is going to be picking up Moose in middle, as now we need to see if TCM can find the response. Look at Shane's positioning. Yes, he is slap bang on the drone, but instead of going for the run, he's just going to be holding for the kind of offensive defense almost here on that drone in center.
Yeah. Just pivoting around that drone, not picking up at the moment. Sure, if his teammates pick up a couple of kills, he will be one to grab it. I'm sure if he picks up one, he's not going to find him. Fists are out, and he picks up the drone for that extra armor. Doesn't go in his favor. Now picks up Rated, trades kill. EMP's obviously used in thereby. Now, that may be something that's why, I mean, we almost mocked it a little bit there, but, you know, Joe, he's not a fan of getting EMP'd and now seems to be exploiting that. Yeah,
of course, the beauty of the EMP, it does. Not only does it kind of distort your view, it does kind of remove your ELO sight, which can make things a little bit difficult. It's kind of it's a kind of poor man's flashbang, essentially. We're going to be seeing Joe then take down Nile. 2.5 minutes left on the clock, and still haven't seen too much progress from that drone. The one run, that one successful run made by Rated has kind of been the only real showing here in this first half. Maybe, just maybe, it's time for Shane to have a go for himself. No, straight into contact with one. Tried to get it into the hands of Moose, of course, removing his weapon, but no tennis for us today, and instead, Moose is going to be like, oh, you want me to have it? I guess I'll have a go myself. It looks like he's going to be going exactly the same route that we saw from Rated, waiting for that thruster before he goes up high, and is looking for another 2-pointer.
Yeah, and he's gonna go, oh, just a 1. Maybe had the call just to go for that 1-point play, but the important thing is he's still alive. Rated picks up the drone, they could go for a relay play, as Moose does use that kinetic armor. I was wondering whether he was gonna pop it, and now Rated potentially going in for a 2-point play himself, does manage to put that in. Staying on board with Moose, though. 6 and 7.
Need to catch Zerg on his heels. He looks like he's going to be trying to make a run towards AC, but no, look at that. Rated brings down the Scythe, and he does mow them down, embodying everything the Scythe stands for, like the Grim Reaper. Now Joe with the RK5 has got just a little bit of a kind of problem on his hands, which is of course the time. 1 minute 20 to try and make an impact on this TCM score. 5-0, and Epsilon does look like they've been running away with it somewhat.
Yeah, Joe on your screen, this new assault rifle player now shuts him down. Moose is going to get in the action here in the middle with the VMP. 5-0 though at the moment, 1 minute on the clock, and for me, TCM haven't even entered Epsilon's base.
It doesn't feel like it, that's for sure. However, an all too familiar sight is going to be Epsilon taking this route. There must be someone there to play the counterplay. He's going up high. This is going to be the Epsilon run almost, as Niall finally does step up for TCM, but it's not enough. And that's going to be, of course, eliminated by Reedy, while Moose makes another 2 points. 0-7, and this does not feel like a TCM that are capable of besting a team like Epsilon.
Yeah, and Heatwave comes in. It wasn't actually necessary, but all nevertheless entertaining to see. Joe last alive. He's going to shut down one. Brand falls.
Yeah, but now with 29 seconds left, he's just going to kind of keep an eye on that doorway for his teammate. Niall did catch Reedy, though. Not the best bodyguard work as the assists just keep on flying in. Finally finds a kill for himself as the drone is loose. 19 seconds, he could go for an offense. He could go for the reset. Looks like he's going to be going for the first of that list before his teammates actually do all fall. And the final run, 10 seconds. I mean, it's a 1 point maximum at this point. 7 seconds, 6 seconds. Brand just needs to go for the one. He's lined it up, and that should very well be just getting TCM off the starting mark.
Yeah, a bit of a confidence boost there for TCM. Obviously,
what?
I'm not sure if that time to beat is necessarily something to go by, but I believe the score, I'm just going to pop it up for a second. 7-1 for Epsilon. And you see on your final kill cam, Joe getting the better of Brand, but Brand managed just to get that all-important 1 point.
Yeah, and that was indeed all-important. That makes a big difference. Do ignore that time to beat. That's something completely irrelevant in terms of score that you can see on the board there. Need to try and beat 7. Or if Epsilon can extend their lead even more so. The start's coming out early though. Zerg wants to try and make an early impact in middle and start the ball rolling. Look at that, the distance is just absolutely insane. But just the one, a tough investment of such a long time waiting on that scythe. And talking of specialists, you can see kinetic armor is available. Now is the time for Shane to use that if it's necessary to break in and to enable Niall to pick up a 2-pointer. Looks like he's not going to be doing the same exact route as Epsilon. No, instead he's going to make himself much more vulnerable. Zerg just managed to take down the 2 threats and scoop it up for himself. Shane's going to make it go. There goes the kinetic armor, and there goes the 2 points. And that, my friends, is exactly how TCM needed to start, implementing the kinetic armor as best they could, and enables them to start with a bang in the second half.
Yeah, I love the fact Shane was just, he doesn't care about his kill-death ratio. He just grabs the drone. He doesn't hesitate for 1 millisecond. He just picks it up and says, look, I'm going for it. And he does exactly that. 2 points on the score sheet for him. 4 minutes on the clock, 7-3 for Epsilon. Little bit closer here, but Shane just needs to step it up a tiny bit in the fragging department. He's going to get that melee kill. Not sure how that was a 1 point. Really must have been weak there from teammates, but Niall as well picking up one. Shane progressing up the map. This is better from them. Joe picks up 2.
And this is kind of all TCM have to do now is rinse and repeat. They know the route that works. They've seen it work for Epsilon, and it's going to be working for TCM. Here is exactly the same thing. Of course, it does kind of rule out the options for your opponent. They basically have to be sitting exactly where he is. Now, what on earth was that attempt? I don't think that's going to be going in. Instead, just bounces actually relatively close. You can see there on the minimap, it was not too far from the uplink area. Still, we're going to be seeing what the HVK can do in the hands of Niall. He's going to be able to stop that drone from being... I was going to say stop the drone from being reset. It did get chucked out just before that happened, though. And instead, we're going to be seeing Shane scoop it up. And he's attempting a potential 1 point play. No, he's passed over to his teammate. It's going to come down to Niall. That's another 2. And TCM are back in the game, baby.
Yeah, TCM, I like the manual pass there from Shane. Again, he's doing all the objective work. He's not bothered about that kill-to-death ratio. Reedy, though, has the drone in hand. If he gets this 2 point play, this could be really detrimental for the boys.
No.
But you can see them spawning in. He's gonna go for the 1. I like the choice he makes there. Slides in, looks up, gets that solid 1 point play. Now, forcing TCM to have a 2-play game.
Yeah, 2 plays. It's all the more difficult, especially considering just how much effort it took for TCM to get the 2 plays to get them to 5. Let's not forget, of course, they did get that 1 point right at the end of that first half. Joe then with the Annihilator backs away from the nade. He's going on the offensive. He's going to find another one then. That's 2 already. Looking for the third. Oof, whistles past the ear of Shane as he responds in force with his VMP. 2.5 minutes or just under for TCM to overcome this deficit. Not impossible, especially when you've got players like Brand with the fragging, making sure Moose was dead in that one.
Yeah, for me now, if Epsilon get another kind of 1 or... In fact, if Epsilon get another 2 point play, I think it's GG for them. But with 2 minutes left on the clock, everything is still to play for. Kills get in exchange by Shane. 11-22 though. not having the best of games, just needs to bring that slaying power along with Bran. Bran's, just needs to step it up a bit. Epsilon have kind of gone for this, outslay your opponent and you will win method, something I live by, especially in uplink.
Yeah, and I mean, you've got so many Slayers on the other side of things. Rated 24, Joe 23. It really, I mean, they're all about 2 or 3 kills between the top and the middle. Now we're going to be seeing what Nile can do with the Tempest does open up onto Joe. This is important. Shane needs to get the 2 points here. 1 is just not enough, and he's going to get it. This makes it 7-8 and still 1 minute and a half on the clock. And this game is most definitely not over yet. TCM need to make this impact play, and they need to make it now. Moose, on the other hand, is going to be completely ruining the hopes and dreams of TCM. This could be a 2-pointer, and if it is, it could very well be over. No! Great defensive work from Zerg, and all of a sudden, he resets it. 60 seconds, and they can make a run of their own.
Now, the important thing for TCM now, don't panic. I don't want them going in single file. What they need to do is, collect themselves, go in together, and this is what they're doing. They're going for this right-hand side push. Bran has the teammates. Surely this is a 1-point play to be a minimum. He's going to go for it. He doesn't make it, and you see just the drone just kind of
God, it's painful to watch, but it's not over. Shane, he's going to have to be the man with the mindset. He has to tell the guys, no, it's not over just yet. Zerg, unfortunately, doesn't have the kinetic armor available. It was Shane who had it, and that could very well have been the missed opportunity. 30 seconds. Joe knows it as well. He can just run around in circles now away from TCM. Who was that? Who is going to have a chip on their shoulder for the rest of this one? Was it Bran?
I think it was Bran or Zerg. I'm not too sure. All in the heat of the moment.
Keep on coming.
For me, it was, it was a solid 1-point play, maybe the chance to steal it as a 2-point play. And you saw as the drone just bounced over, almost the hopes and dreams of TCM just drain. I was going to say from the faces, but I can't see that for the obvious reasons. But another play goes in, is stuck on the roof, and that's going to finish things. Epsilon 8-7. Whew. I mean, it couldn't have gone any closer.
Oh, TCM, I mean, that's in the same vein as that 247 hardpoint finish for Giants. That's going to be so demoralizing, as that's going to be, I mean, the wind taken from the sails of TCM, as they could have very well taken that into an 8-8 overtime.
Yeah, and just finalizing things there. Looking at that scoreboard, for me, there was only, I mean, Shane was just lacking on the fragging side of things. Another player, I think it was Bran as well, could have been putting some more numbers in. But they could have actually proved me wrong. They could have finished that. If that was a 2-point play, they could have been pretty much all negative and won that game. Epsilon went for the outslaying kind of technique. It usually wins. But for the guys on TCM, so close. 1 point within it and could have stole that away. Yeah, and it does it shows that there are multiple ways to approach that game type. On uplink, you're not just looking for this kind of slaying spree and happening to capture, a couple of moments where the team is completely down and you get a couple of 2-point plays. There's another side of that where it is just this kind of relentless taking the opportunities that are given to you, that are presented in your lack of fragging, to enable you to go for these kind of more distant and more kind of sporadic 2-point plays. They get it though, 8-7. And we are going to be seeing a second one under the wings, and of course that's going to be a big boost for Epsilon. Yeah, massive boost for Epsilon, especially though they've just lost the Search and Destroy, something they didn't expect. Sure, coming into this, they wanted the 3-0 victory. TCM have said no, but can TCM do the underdog? Can they fight through this capture the flag, push it to that last Search and Destroy? If they take 2 Search and Destroys off Epsilon, that's a real kick in the teeth for them. That would be quite quite comedic almost, to go into the next interview and be like, so last time we spoke, you said you were going to go undefeated in the league in Search and Destroy, and then proceeded to lose twice back to back to TCM. That would be fun. That would be fun, and I'd almost want to get that interview done like immediately. Like, give me a camera and a plane ticket, and I'll go do that ASAP. But we haven't quite got there yet. We are going to be going into the Search and Destroy if we need it. So capture the flag is going to be the determining factor of that one, if TCM can take it all the way. Yeah. But, hats off to both Epsilon for bouncing back, TCM to giving them their all. But for you guys at home, what an entertaining series so far, especially that uplink. 8-7. It finished in the end, could have gone either way. But for me, that's kind of the game of the series. I think you're right. I mean, Search and Destroy, an argument could be made for that one. Yeah. But uplink, just the fact that the fact that one person split-second decision, this player's shooting at you, you've got the drone, there's 30 seconds left on the clock. If you get this 1 pointer, your team is still in it. That's just so many pressure
points just being pressed at the same time.
Yeah, and it was almost, and it's nothing to kind of point out at Bran. It was a kind of a basic 1-point play, and for me and you, it probably was something we could go and do quite easily. But when you've got kind of 4 people shooting at you from different angles, grenades going off, the pressure where basically, if I get this 1-point play, my team's done it, and it just kind of went the wrong way. And it was so close. You could see
it wasn't far.
It bounced just below, and then I was thinking maybe it'll stay there and he can pick it up and get another one. But you saw it just trickle over the edge, and you saw TCM just everything just. I can imagine that it just draining out of their body, their faces, and knowing that they took the loss on that one. But it is certainly not over yet.
Certainly not. No, we're going to be going into, I believe it's going to be Capture the Flag on Fringe next. And already we've seen kind of 3 or 4 or 5 different approaches to this game type combination. We've seen this kind of ridiculous kind of, what did you've dubbed it a certain term, this kind of counter push, these kind of, basically if everything goes to pot, these quick counter rushes with the flag, and you see these kind of quick like 1-2 points accumulated.
You can play like you can either play counter caps where we'll kind of go play really aggressive, and if it works, brilliant. But if not, they may get one, but we'll just get one right back. But the complete opposite is basically really defensive, staying back. You'll have your dominant assault rifle player, maybe your Zerg or your rated, just sat right at the back, racking up those score streaks, and then once they've got these, they've got kind of like a safety net.
Right. So if a run's being made that they can't reach, there's a lightning strike, there's a hellstorm, there's something. Right. Okay.
But we saw the Cerberus come into play last time.
Yeah.
And again, it just went down to the wire. I think it was Excel versus. Trying to think who it was.
Excel Giants?
It was about 10 minutes ago, and my memory eludes me. But nevertheless, it was Excel Giants. And we saw kind of Giants take this really defensive kind of back 4.
Yeah.
And Excel just capitalized on it.
Absolutely, they did. And I think that's something that we're going to kind of... I mean, I'm less kind of interested and more just kind of intrigued if we're going to see anything else. Because we've already seen so many different variations of this game type and map combination. Now, though, Vesper and Overdrive have been taken away in our ban and protects for TCM versus Epsilon. And Active Camo is going to be taken away as well. Very similar so far to the uplink ban and protect.
Yeah, a Vesper taken away. Where is the MA? We've not seen it. Can it be number 5? Surely it will be. High Caliber taken away. But again, to capture the flag, Overdrive and Active Camo, 2 very, very important ones taken away by the boys on Epsilon. Still no M8. Is it just going to be one that's left alone for now? Because, of course, you've still got the stun, the concussion. We've seen a third specialist ban here coming into play.
Well, do you know what? It's probably got to the point now where you know that someone's going to ban it. And and so they've done the maths, and they've basically worked out, like, hang on a second, it comes down to Shane and Moose. If we take away Heatwave, then it does fall to Shane. Shane essentially can choose, do I want the M8 in the game? That is the decision he can make right now. And he's got plenty of time to do so. 7 seconds, whether or not he wants to take the M8 or something else. But it was Epsilon kind of making the decision like, no, you don't. Afterburner. That's going to make a lot of changes that people may not be aware of.
Yeah, Afterburner obviously recharging that boost very, very quickly. You see it kind of use, on your Search and Destroy. We saw previously like Redwood, where there's all the trees around. We've seen, a lot of wall running. For me, it's little things. Now, Capture the Flag, it's all about quickly getting into, say, Barn, or quickly getting up into White. But at the minute, if your charge is down, you want that Afterburner to kind of boost it back up, if you like. And then that's what they'll be lacking with that taken away. But going into the Specialist draft, we see Joe taking Psychosis, opting for something different as Reedy takes over his Seraph Annihilator, rated on that Reaper Scythe. Moose yet to pick. I'm guessing Moose, I'm trying to think what's been taken away. I don't know what there's left to choose. He could choose the Tempest, the War. Yeah, Tempest. There we go. And on the other side, is there anything different there? No. Oh, Psychosis and War Machine.
Okay, well that all shows, and then we're going to be seeing, I mean, potentially a standard game. I think the fact that there were so many specialists taken away, it does mean that there's going to be very little innovation on the side of the specialist draft. You can see that it is almost that mirror matchup bar the kind of Annihilator, the War Machine and the Psychosis. Joe on Psychosis. We had already just highlighted that Joe was the man to go to when it came to the Annihilator.
Yes.
And he has just kind of let that go to Reedy. Yeah,
I mean, he's opted. He had first choice. He could have picked the Annihilator. But if he's feeling a little bit different, if he's just playing a different game style, I've said before, Joe sometimes likes to use the assault rifle now. Reedy obviously will switch in and be that submachine gun player. So they've almost just swapped roles. But it can be quite confusing for the opposing team. If you think, oh, Joe's last alive, he'll be in our base. may not be the case as these guys ready up. Bran is actually the first to be ready here, as Rated probably taking a little bit more time on his classes, changing things up now with those ban and protects coming in. So many specialists. We saw 4 featuring the ban and protect.
Yeah, I mean, this is where we kind of have to set our sights on the game itself. The rosters for you guys, if we want to remind you, if you have just joined us, of course, for TCM versus Epsilon, we have Bran, Zerg, Nile, and Shane, bringing in the Annihilator, Scythe, Tempest, and War Machine. And for the boys of Epsilon, we have Joe, One Psychosis, Reedy with Annihilator, Rated on the Scythe, and Moose bringing Tempest into the fray. So far, we've seen Nile go absolutely crazy with the Tempest. We're waiting to see if Moose can kind of return the favor with his.
Yep, and score streaks will be changed. Shouldn't be too long with this. But for me, going into this Fringe Capture the Flag, I look at both rosters. I favour Epsilon. Just generally, that's what I would do on every single game mode. Yeah. But I'm just thinking Capture the Flag really is one of Shane's favorites game mode. If he's going to, you know, kind of change things up, be a bit sneaky, this is the game mode which he's going to do it in. And what a game mode to push it to map number 5. We've seen it already today once. Will we see it again? But first of all, Fringe Capture the Flag, unlimited score limit, 5 minutes on the clock, 7.5 respawn delay. As you see on the right-hand side there, the map Fringe.
Yeah, and a map that kind of does play out, excuse me, a game type that does play out very interestingly when it comes to the importance of various kills. Like, for example, with that 7.5 second respawn delay, it does mean that if you pick up a quick 3-piece, that is a very influential step in the right direction for your team. And so you have to kind of consider that, guys, that the kill feed just holds a lot more value than it perhaps always does. And we'll be seeing how that does start things off, as we are going to be seeing kind of 1-2-1 split across the lanes, and one man is going to need some help. It looks like Shane is going to have a teammate there to come around behind him. This could be 2 for him. Does catch a glimpse of 1. It was going to be an easy pickup onto Reed. There is one man that has gone unnoticed for now, as it's going to be easy pickup for Moose, and that's a solid start then for Epsilon, as he's going to have a flag control.
Yeah, Bran's already picked the flag, and the interesting thing is he's got 2 smoke grenades here. Uses 1 to get out of there, and he's going to run this train. He's actually away here. The only thing is, the other flag has been returned now. Surely this is a cap. Who is that to stop it? It's going to be Rated. Yeah, and Rated's just gone down. Shane, solid defense from him. He knew that all his eyes need to be cast on was that flag. Moose is on the hunt, but I think he knows too little, too late. 1 already under the belt for TCM, and that's all kind of off the back of Brandon. I still can't understand just how long. Like, how did he get away with getting that flag and running it so completely unguarded? For me, it was just the support that he had from his team. You know, Epsilon almost overextended too much. They didn't go back to base. And as you see here, they're going to try and capitalize on it. Zerg is going to pick up 1, but it's actually out of their base. And I'm gone. Moose is away. Moose is taking down Bran with a long shot here. And Joe picks up the flag. Smoke grenade comes in. And that is going to be a camp, not for Joe. It's going to be Reedy. Yeah, he's going to walk that one in, and what on earth is this? We have seen games where it took like a second half before we saw two flag caps. Already, it is going to be sitting at 1 apiece. 3.5 minutes left on the clock in this one, and already we have seen just how quickly, like if you are given just like an ounce of freedom, you can really make the runs. You can truly just make progress across the map. And now Reedy seems to be like quite happy with that and quite content. He's going to leave Rated and the gang to do some damage. Nile and Zerg remain. Yeah, Reedy on your screen. Gonna go on board with someone else, someone more in the action. That's gonna be Nile. He's gonna be pushing up through this mid-map, has the MA as well as an EMP. Obviously, knows Joe doesn't like it. Zerg's gonna surely trade that kill. Joe and Moose combining. Shane and Zerg answering back, 2v2 right now, and we're gonna see Shane fall to Rated's MR6. Only Zerg left alive. He's gonna surely be, yeah, Reedy taking him down. Reedy and Rated, always making me very tongue-twisted on the caster side of things. Oh, what a headshot there. Finds Nile and finds it quickly as he is going on the offensive. Rated surely going to be hunted down, though, by Zerg. Does so, finds his head all too easily. And Epsilon are cut down to half of their usual numbers. Just 2 of them remain, as you can see. Oh, another headshot. This time it's Zerg into Barn, onto Moose. And 2.5 minutes left on this one. Still bit of a stalemate. They're not willing to be that player to overcommit. It has just been a kind of a one-player game. One person makes the push, one person shuts him down. That's essentially where we're sitting at right now. You can see though Zerg is the only real man, isn't the only man making a push. You can see another man on the other side by that truck. Joe does go down. Zarnal's doing exactly the same thing. Looks like TCM's offense is starting to come together. 3 members now forging a charge towards that flag as they try and take down that back spawn player. Who on earth is that? Is it Moose? No, it's going to be Reedy. Reedy's been sat at the back since he caught the flag. He's got his score streaks. He's 75. Is he away from the Cerberus? He is. He's on a 5-kill streak. If he can pick up one more kill with this Annihilator, he's not. That's going to go away. Pull out his other pistol, but he just needs one kill.
That's
and he's going to play for this.
Yeah, of course he is. He can leave a Cerberus just on their flag and feel a lot safer.
Oh, he's going to come
That's going to be it. There you go. Another Cerberus is about to make an appearance in the game. He's got it all as everything lights up gold in the bottom right. And, I mean, the patience does pay off for Reedy, it seems.
Yeah, and Reedy with those score streaks. Obviously, they won't be coming into play until the second side is going to choose. It's time to use them very, very wisely. 1 minute on the clock, though. 1-1 apiece here. Shane, let's see what is going off. Just going to pop that X-ray on for you onto the enemy side. Just realised now we can't see through, but for all you guys at home, that is only for us. And you as well in the benefit. But it'd be a very different game if they could see it.
That would be the most confusing game ever if there was X-ray on. We'd be seeing some very unusual play styles. But anyway, let's stop enjoying that idea and instead talk about Epsilon, who did just pick up a cap. 35 seconds left on that one. And we are starting to see some problems start to establish. The scythe is potentially available. He's got 28 seconds if he wanted to use it. Instead, he's going to make for the run. Rated scoops that one up with a slide. He does have 20 seconds. He does have time to cross, but there's so many players standing in his way. I think he realizes that it's unlikely. If he get that frag in barn...
I was just noticed Epsilon's actually got another flag there going into the other side. 3-1 for them now. Just seem to doing it with no problem at all. I just want to see, has Reedy used his streaks? He's not. Don't know how they've done this so quickly, back to back.
TCM then are going to be falling by the wayside as the last few frags did come in 3-1 in this one, and Epsilon's kind of extending their lead right towards the end of that one. It seems to have us a little lost as Joe's last frag too easy in the back of Shane to bring that one to a close. And we're going into that second half. They're not forgetting, guys, the score currently as it stands in the series 2-1. Epsilon just needing to maintain this lead, whether it's by extending it or just playing defensive, and they will be winning the series 3-1. We'll find out, though, as we're going to be seeing a very early side. Rated kind of calls it out right off the get-go. Not too sure kind of the thought process there, as he's going to losing some valuable time.
Yeah, he just wants it ready to shut down anyone pushing forward from TCM. He's going to put bullets through this. He's surely going to pick up the kill. Yes, he does. Reedy as well, rated with a headshot. That white car not doing any favors for the guys on TCM. Now it's the only one left alive, but he is behind enemy lines. Could pick up an all-important kill.
He certainly could. He won't, though, because Raiders got him with the scythe as he's starting to mow them down, and just 250 away now from a rather scary streak. Got to be careful. 100 now. Needs a couple more, but no. Shut down as the War Machine does come in. No Wraith today. And we are going to be seeing both flags return to base.
Yep, 3-1, and I hear the hostile Cerberus has been unleashed. Reedy's bringing that in. Of course, he will save his Hellstorm and Lightning. He's got that Annihilator ready to pop out whenever he needs. I want to go on board with someone from TCM, because this is the team that need to change something. They need to be the ones on the aggressive side, and they are, as Epsilon just kind of set up, sit back, and relax as they win in this 3-1.
Yeah, TCM need to change something, and change something fast, considering we are bordering on that scary time. And once you breach 3 minutes, it's going to be very difficult to make an impact. Shane is going to be the one to try and do so. Retrieves that one. He's so sure, certain of the Swan's presence. He couldn't quite find him, though. He couldn't cast his eyes towards Joe because he's just got himself a double. Niall does manage to get some sort of revenge. Does have his Tempest available, but he's not looking for frags right now. He's looking to pick up that objective. The EMP comes out, not going to do anything unless he can find Reedy. Oh, his chances back on that peak, and oh, didn't catch a glimpse of that head. That's a free kill for Reedy. Collects that one. He could very well find the second in the air. He does. Shane, you can go on any wall you want, mate, but I'm going to pick up that kill all the same. The Annihilator is available. He's going to pull that one out, but his teammates are doing the work for him. Reedy, in fact, with his Cerberus, was the one to find that one. And it does feel like TCM may have hit a bit of a brick wall here on Fringe. Yeah, and you can see there the flag's going to be ran in by Moose. Gonna make it 4, and that's going to be so tough. You can see Epsilon almost running around. One has the Tempest, one has the Annihilator. I'll stay on board with him as he finalizes things. Joe obviously opting for the Psychosis and Rated used that scythe previously. But for me, Epsilon looking very good at capture the flag here. Only game mode that they didn't look actually quite strong was Search and Destroy. They look like a little bit weaker, if anything. They certainly did, and you can see that not only are they being strong on the offense, they are just keeping TCM down. Every single time we see a potential push, made from, it's usually Nile or from Shane. Those are the two players we've seen kind of trying their hardest to break through, and also kind of ironically, those are the two that have been sitting most effectively on frags, kind of bar Zerg. And now, just 2 minutes left. Going to be seeing this kind of same story. Shane gets a couple, can't break through.
Yeah, and you can see just this kind of line built up here, this red brick wall, if you like. No one is getting through, but one person who's trying is Shane. He gets taken down. Nile as well by Rated, and Reedy also adding to that. Zerg, though, does manage to pick up one. Not going to be a big game changer, though, here in this 4-1 score at the moment on Capture the Flag. Fringe. Shane trying to change things. Must be so frustrated.
Yeah, he's just going to be kind of trying to provide as much support to his team as he can, like saying, guys, you know, we've done well. We've done well to come this far. We beat them on Search and Destroy, a game type that they claim to be unbeatable at. And now with 1 minute 30 on the clock, they need 3 runs of the flag, and Moose has actually grabbed TCMs again. Is this going to be happening? And making it 5. That certainly would be salt into the wound. He's taken out that outside junkyard area, and I think he's got himself a safe run. There is one man to deal with him, and I think he realizes it's coming from behind. He's going to try and bump into one. It was Bran, as Reedy takes himself down with his lightning strike, and the cross is going to be covered. Moose is going to go ahead and grab this one. That's 5, and Epsilon just extend their lead, which is already looking pretty insurmountable for TCM. Their loss is coming, and they know it.
Yeah, I've got to say, Reedy's 20-6. He's just held this kind of back line for you know, almost the defense of Epsilon, if you like.
Yeah.
And he's used his score streaks to his best of his ability. He's used them at the right time. His Cerberus, everything's come into play, and it's just been very, very clinical from the boys on Epsilon. Rated, though, just raining fire time and time again. Is he going to use these score streaks? He's having too much fun with a scythe. Sure, they'll come into play now.
I think it's time to just spam those score streaks. Psychosis is probably going to be popped in the next few seconds. Joe, just so he can. The flag is being run, though, by Nile. Rund. There you go, making up words, and it's time for the Hellstorm to try. And I think it's a bit late with that one. I think we are probably going to see that one dealt with. No, Rated pockets 2. Nile and Zerg gone. 15 seconds left, and that flag is going to be picked up by Moose.
Yeah, and the lightning strike gonna finish things off. 10 seconds left to go. 5-1 Epsilon.
Is he actually going to get this one? 7, 6. I think he's just got enough time, but unfortunately Nile's MR6 does make that impossible. We are going to be having Epsilon then your victors in this game as they secure that one 5-1, as Rated ended with 31-16. You said it already, I'll say it again, that it was kind of a work of both Rated with his kind of constant scythe and middle exchanges with the M8, but also Reedy sitting on 20 for 8, like half of the deaths of Rated or anyone else on his team. Very, very solid stuff from him, as he managed to just be that kind of, the Tony of earlier, the same kind of role.
Yeah, I mean, great thing about Capture the Flag, you have these roles, and Reedy played his to perfection. Rated, though, for me, he played the more kind of skillful role, Reedy very easily to sit back. Yeah, yes, it's vital, but Rated, though, for me, kind of was one to watch there. He was just all over the map, pulling flags, putting massive amount of scythe bullets into every single player on the opposing team, racking up 31 kills. Finalising thing at Epsilon, though. No underdog story here. Yeah,
no, not just yet. However, the story that I you didn't quite notice was actually there was a quick cap for Reedy, which we of course recognized, but also Joe was sitting there at the top for returns. His job obviously must have been, he had 3 returns, so the majority of them going his way, and that must have primarily just been off the back of just being the roaming player. He's everywhere, he's like a Rash, and that enables him to just be present when that flag is loose.
Yeah, you spotted something I didn't. I've got to say though, Joe, just kind of the playstyle he was, we saw Reedy right at the back, and we saw Ray just kind of raving havoc, if you like, in the middle, but Joe, like you said, must have been in the enemy base, you know, getting those returns, those all-important ones, because you can put as many kills on the board as you like, but if you don't make those flag caps, you will not be winning. Obviously, a huge props to Joe there with the 3 returns.
Yeah, and how has that affected the standings, I hear you ask? Epsilon, the first team of the Call of Duty World League here in Europe to breach the 3-0 mark, yet to concede a loss, and doing so in rather convincing fashion. That 3-1 victory over the boys of TCM. Infused still sitting on that 0. Just those 2 at the top of the table so far, the only teams yet to lose one out. Infused are still to be tested today, though. They're going up against Splice and Pulse Gaming versus Millennium to follow that as well. Millennium given the opportunity to just take another step towards the top of the standings, currently sitting at 1-1. We'll be seeing that game at the end of the day. First up, we have Infused versus Splice to be our 4th of the day. Quick expectations. Give everyone a little taste of what's coming up for this one.
I mean, Infuse really, really hot into the league. A lot of fan favourites, I would say, for Infuse, but Spliced have had a few roster changes. Definitely one to watch. But for me, Infuse probably just tipping the edge for this one. But of course, that means nothing here in the COD World League, especially for today. Funnily enough, actually, before this, you know, you said this was your game to watch. Hard to say that after what we've already seen, but definitely should be excited.
Definitely. I mean, it has been underdog day. Some crazy results that if you missed, you really are going to be kicking yourself when you see those standings. For now, though, we're going to take a quick break before we bring you your next Call of Duty World League game. It's going to be Infused, it's going to be Splice, it's going to be spicy. We'll see you soon.